There we go. All right. 1, 2, 3. And we are live.
Are we? Are we
Yep.
though?
Hello, folks. It is me, Platty, back again within the Domination Tournament. Today I'm joined by Human Boy.
It's me, the boy of hummus.
Yeah. So we got some 2v2s going on today. We got a nice 2v2 tournament. Got these showing. But we got some replays. We're casting off replays today because 2v2s tend to be pretty laggy when you have 4 players in. When you add casters on top of that, it just gets really bad. So let the players go ahead and play, and then we'll just cast the replays as they come into us. So
Yeah, I popped in on your stream and I forget the two facts. Oh, it was a corn mirror. I popped in on a corn mirror that was lagging in a 1v1, and that was pretty brutal. So I can imagine a 2v2 with 2 casters is not super easy on everyone's system.
Yep. Exactly. So, first up we have Team ODM, which is Hanadins and another ODM member I'm not familiar with. I can't remember the name.
Azabel?
Azabel, yes.
Yeah, I've seen Azabel around. They're all right.
Okay.
They're not like the best player in the world, but they're solid.
Okay. And with a veteran like Hanadin. Oh, my game crashed.
Really? Mine too.
Well, get wrecked. Well, I'm going to relaunch the game.
Yeah, me too. What happened?
What
happened?
I alt-tabbed. I alt-tabbed to look at chat. Or rather to get chat on my screen, because I forgot to do that ahead of time.
That doesn't explain why I crashed.
Because I control your PC. Whatever happens to me happens to you. We're bound by fate.
That's fair. This was played on the map pack, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because when I'm loading into the replay, I see no map name above it.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah, I'm mildly concerned. Yeah, I crashed again. Uh-oh.
Am I gonna have to just stream to you in Discord so you can see?
Yeah, I mean, if it works for you, that's completely fine. What up, Raksha? Strix?
Yeah, hey folks. And this corrupted file causes double crashes. I see, it's Hanadins. He implanted a virus. Yeah, I don't see a map name either. Do we have... Oh wait, no, that's a normal for the map pack, I think. Alright, let's try launching this again.
In the meantime,
All
I'm
Hanadins
gonna do some sneakiness.
Is your game still crashing? Do you need me to stream to you?
Probably, if you can make it in, yeah.
Okay, well I'm gonna load in first.
Yeah.
Actually,
See if you can do it.
This map looks interesting. Do I not have the map pack in it? I could have. Okay, my game crashed too. What the heck? Hanadins, what did you break? Did Hanadins actually break it? Do I not have the map? Oh, I don't have the map pack enabled. Duh.
What? Do I need to enable it every time?
No, I just didn't have it enabled this morning because I had last time I launched I was playing multiplayer campaigns and so I had multiplayer campaign mods instead of map pack mods. That's why the map wasn't showing up. I'm a silly.
Alright, I'm gonna relaunch the game with the thingy and make sure that I have it on at all.
Okay.
Okay, it says it's on.
Trust us, chat. We know what we're doing. Totally.
It says it's not outdated. I am famously terrible with mods, so I am not shocked that I am being a big doofer.
Alright. Now it has the map. We play thanks, Cuden. No problem. Alright, it seems to be going a little better for me this time now that I actually have the mod enabled. That'll make my life a lot easier.
Okay. I mean, my mod was enabled. Celestial Lake.
Yep.
Hey, I have it now. Let's go.
Hey!
I disabled it and re-enabled it. I don't know why that mattered, but yeah, I can see the map, so I'm definitely getting into this time. It's not just a square.
Okay.
Okay. We're done being stupid for the day.
Yep.
Oh, I wonder if I turn on my game through the shortcut instead of going through the launcher if it never launches the mod.
Probably. So he's never seen me make these mistakes before, so he's blame it all on you, which I think is fair.
All right.
Yep. Alright, so looks like we got Wood Elves Tomb Kings versus Walk Empire. Okay, okay.
I'll cover Walk Empire if you want to run through
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Wood Elf Tomb
go for
Kings.
it. I am still loading in for the moment because my potato
Oh,
PC. Okay,
okay.
and we're
I'm gonna
in.
pause. I'm pausing at 20 seconds. Let me know when you're there, and I'll hit play.
Alright, I am streaming to you on Discord so you can sync without even telling me. I paused at 22 because I wasn't paying attention. Alright, you got Walk Empire?
Yeah, I got Walk Empire. All right. Give Be'lakor and Karl Franz. I wonder if the Empire brings a life caster to heal up Be'lakor, because that would actually be pretty clutch. Other than that, it looks like a mass infantry rush for Faja and Kara. Just a ton of Empire chaff mixed with Warriors of Chaos, more elite infantry, much better infantry on their side. So they have bodies from the Empire and killing potential from Chaos. And all they got are Bright Wizards. They don't have healing for Franz, which is interesting. But it does appear to be a Man-Tide rush for the very start of the Empire. They do have one Hellstorm Rocket Battery, but this map is gigantic, so they're not actually in range yet.
Where do you
That's
see
what
that?
they got.
Where do you see the Bright Wizard?
Bright Wizard, he just spawned.
Oh, you unpaused it.
I did unpause because I'm a poopy. I'm at 1:09. I'll
oh.
unpause it when you catch up, so don't worry about me.
Yeah, I'm very far behind you then. Okay, so then for Wood Elves Tomb Kings, we have Arkin the Black heading up a big tie to Ushabti as well as Ushabti Great Bows, backed up by triple Waywatcher and a Spellweaver of High Magic with Hand of Glory and Apotheos. So they're going for a big old shooting core, triple Waywatcher and Chosen the Gods, backed up by just more double Swimming Skull Catapult, and there's a line of spears and Hekara Swordsman to back them up. If they can shoot apart this infantry rush, they're going to have a hard time getting on top of them, but if they're not careful, those infantry rush will just roll over them like a tide and wash all the way back to their spawn, so they need to get some infantry out here to actually support these missile units. I am at 1 minute.
Yep, I'm watching. Is
Okay.
Waywatcher... Is Triple Waywatcher a thing in Domination? It recently reappeared in land battles and actually did surprisingly well, and I've been seeing much more people hop on Wood Elves after seeing that success. But
in 1v1s,
feels flimsy in Dom.
In 1v1s, no. But in turns 2v2, about a week ago, Kark actually ended up winning the whole tournament with triple Waywatchers alongside Brettonia. So he actually had some pretty good success with it. So, and in a 2v2 where you have actually enough bodies to support it from your allies supporting, they can actually be really potent because they do hit incredibly hard. Especially when combined with the Discourage effect from the Hawkeyes of Drakira, you can rout off enemy units very, very quickly.
All right, then. And a lot of these Chaos troops aren't shielded. The Marauders are great weapons. Chaos Warriors with Halberds aren't shielded, so the Waywatchers do really good damage there. Though Waywatchers tend to just have so much DPS that even being shielded won't really save you from their fury.
Yeah, absolutely. And Be'lakor and Franz also need to be a little bit careful. These Waywatchers will also tear them apart, too.
Yeah, I am shocked that we did not get a life caster.
Yeah, which is really surprising because healing tends to be very, very good in 2v2s, especially when you take the passive. So we can just get a little bit of healing for your entire army. I mean, look at how many bodies are on this field. If you just get a tiny bit of healing for every single one of these guys, that's a lot of value.
Yeah, army-wide passive, and it does apply to both armies. So if you're just spamming out Earthbloods or something, all of Chaos's army is going to get slow regeneration.
Looks like the Waywatcher and Tomb King are shooting is doing just tons of work against all these Chaos Warriors, Halberds, Marauders, doing loads and loads of damage. But looks like the Chaos Empire force is starting to wash over the objectives, kind of pressure on objective number 2, and just starting to push forward. Meanwhile, they do have that Hellstorm prioritizing fire support and just pressuring those Waywatchers so they can't just sit and shoot the whole time.
Yeah, it is a pretty standard Wood Elf strategy to take 1 point, give up 2, and try to do a lot of damage, take the second point, or even a triple cap in the late game. With Tomb Kings, that's going to be interesting, though. I wonder if they just summon a crap ton of skeleton infantry for the late game push, or what they're going to do.
Yeah, well, when you have this many missiles, it's not an uncommon strategy. Just kind of back off, cede some space, and just buy some time to shoot off all of your ammunition. Looks like the Wood Elves actually are pretty keen to take this fight early. They do have those Eternal Guard getting in here, as well as some War Dancers going to back them up. Even the Eyes of the Desert are coming in to lend their support, but those Empire Grenade Launchers can be a real big problem, especially these squishy Elven Infantry. You can just absolutely tear them apart with a single volley.
Yep, Pit of Shades is down on the Hekara Warriors. It'll take them out, though. Pit of Shades against that type of unit, and it's only a 500 gold unit, so it's not like the biggest deal if it gets taken down.
Oh, but that does pave the way for the Empire and Chaos Infantry to just stream through this objective and just roll right over it.
Red team lost capture point 1, though.
It
I
did.
think
Oh
Capture
my
Point 2 is
goodness,
just
I
a
didn't
bit
even
of a
notice. Yeah.
It's a bit of a bait. They're throwing Eternal Guard and Nakara Warriors into this space
Mm-hmm.
to keep them occupied, but those are all pretty, like, meh units.
Mm-hmm.
The real shit, the two Ward Answers, your Shop D, Wild Riders, everything blitzed point one, so that's actually where the focus is.
I
They don't
like
care about two.
this. I like this play from the Wood Elves Tomb Kings because the thing with objective number 2 is that it has all these trees that make it pretty hard to get line of fire for all these Way Watchers. So by playing on objective 1, you're playing in the open and allowing your missiles to actually get the good value they want to be getting.
Yeah, it's pretty good bait.
Mm-hmm.
Now Red's just sitting on 2, and they have a problem because it's all infantry. So if they try to walk over to 1, it's going to take them an awful long time to get there, and you're out wide in the open for these Way Watchers to shoot you. So it's either sit where there's cover and lose 2 points, or leave cover and get shot to death. And it just looks like they're going to sit on 2 for now, but I can't see them getting enough reinforcements out quickly enough to point 1 to really save it. Warriors of Chaos and Empire aren't exactly the fastest factions.
No, but one thing I could see being a big problem is these Empire Knights and any other heavy cav the Empire can bring in, because Wood Elves and Tomb Kings don't have any AP mobility that can actually match them, so even with their 110 armor, they can bully their way around the battlefield pretty effectively and actually pressure out those Way Watchers. Anything that Tomb Kings or the Wood Elves have that can answer them is going to be a lot slower.
I'm tearing up a little bit watching these Firebark Elders waddle towards point 2. It's so beautiful. Because in land battles, Treekin, like, they've gotten a lot of buffs. It's just their function isn't that important in land battles. It's like, I can stand in one spot for a long time. All right, cool. It's not what this is about. But man, I'm just going to revel in their beauty at point 2 for a little bit.
Firebark Elders are pretty popular in Domination. Also, I really would love, like, a Fiery Convocation or a Burning Head to come right through this objective right now.
Yeah,
I know
I see that.
That's not what our players brought, and I'm very disappointed.
Someone brought a Burning Head. It's just on. It would be friendly fire, but maybe he'll do it for the vine.
Yeah. Do it for the vine. Did you just date yourself on stream? I think you just dated yourself. Anyway, these Way Watchers are just getting a lot of free shots in onto this objective too, and just tearing apart all these Chaos Warriors, getting really, really good DPS. Meanwhile, on the other side, Bellicor is just struggling to push off all these undead units. His Terror and his Leadership duos don't do a whole lot to undead, especially the Kepler Guard. Kepler Guard are kind of chads. They're really, really difficult to remove, and they will tear through these Chaos Warrior halberds just fine. You have a nice Pit of Shades coming down, taking out Nekar Warrior, but you'd love to see on the Kepler Guard. They are the biggest threat when you're playing against Tomb Kings these days. They're such a menace.
They're a real good unit.
Mm-hmm.
On the other side, actually, the Wood Elves and Tomb Kings are taking capture point 2 a little bit. They're eking out a triple cap, maybe. Yeah,
they're trading up pretty heavily in value, and they're just wearing down their opponent's infantry line. The infantry's kind of blobbed objective too, and these catapults and Way Watchers have just been free firing. I bet these catapults already crewed. Yeah, they've already almost paid for themselves. The Way Watchers are just firing in free, and there's not a whole lot of cav on the field to actually pressure them out. Now, Franz is coming to Leden's aid to objective number 1, but he's just getting focus fired by the Way Watchers, forced to juke, and gee, that's a nice chunk off of Franz's HP.
Yeah,
with no life cast, that's damage is permanent, so Franz needs to be very, very careful about the hits he takes.
He's down to half.
Yeah, losing your lord with an army with an infantry army like this means your army's just gonna rout away, and you're gonna be losing a ton of value.
The Firebark Elders did it!
Oh yeah, killing off that exalted hero. The backing of Ark and the Black, and just these sneaky snakes. And yeah, it looks like the Tomb Kings Wood Elves. Just look at the mass route coming in from the red team. It's just all of these Empire State troops and Chaos Warriors running for the hill, just being chased down by Treekin. Oh my goodness. And the Ushabti summon as well, doing loads and loads of damage. We're gonna have we have the 3 cap coming in for the blue team, or green team, whichever you prefer.
Franz dove in. But now he's surrounded by Sporkle Stalkers and Spears. Looks like he's taking a bit of damage. He might, he'll pass out here, but he's not having a good time.
He's going to take a volley on the exit from the Sporkle Stalkers, as well as some Spirit Leeches from Mark in the Black. He might not be long for this world. He needs to be very, very careful. Yeah, he does manage to dodge a lot of the shots, which is good. He's still alive, but honestly, his infantry force is almost completely wiped out. And they are being 3-capped. They are starting to take back objective number 1. The reinforcements coming in, the Great Swords. We got some Demigryph Halberds coming in as well to try and push Tomb Kings off of this objective. But I feel like it's too little too late. They're so far down in value. They have a massive hill to climb to get back in this game.
They're behind in points and they're behind in damage value. It's just, it's looking a bit doomed unless something crazy happens. Now, like, Devil's Advocate would say that, oh my god, did you see
Demigryph? Yes, I did, just on the Demigryphs.
That was so good.
Oh,
anyway,
geez.
I was going to say that the Wood Elves and Tomb Kings are probably running out of ammunition, so they're going to have to get rid of this unit and rebuy it. Maybe that'll offer the Empire and Chaos a bit of a value trade, but I don't know.
I don't know. I just saw Hannon's bank up like 2,500 value, just summon in a massive cavalry vanguard on the right side to come and flank and try to get it back into objective number 1.
Yeah.
There's definitely still a lot of gas in the tank for these Wood Elves. The Way Watcher's gonna need to be desummoned soon, but that's the thing I've found with 2v2 Dom is you tend to have all the supplies in the world to resummon your units. So these Way Watchers will probably be coming back before too long. That said, the Empire does manage to retake objective number 1. But yeah, this is looking a little bit rough for the red team. They are so far down in value. Those Wood Elves have gotten so much value just shooting in with these Way Watchers. Each one has probably paid for itself and then some by this point. So yeah.
War Dancers desummoning. 2 of the Way Watchers still on the field. One of them's all out of ammo, so they'll probably desummon soon.
Yep. Chosen the Gods are being resummoned, and Be'lakor needs to be very, very careful because he's such a massive target. Even if their shotgun spread, they will tear him apart. So the the Hellstorm's coming back in, and he's really doing some decent damage to these Way Watchers. But honestly, these Way Watchers are mostly out of ammo. Well, okay, the out of ammo one desummoned. Be'lakor's getting a good catch on the one that does still have ammo. The Spear Leads coming on Be'lakor, not going to be doing a whole lot more than tickling him, as he is a very, very tanky boy. The Wood Elf Cav Vanguard is doing really, really good work against these Hellstriders, just starting to push the Empire and the Warriors Chaos further and further back into their own zone.
You have some Suicide Carrion trying to shut down that fresh Hellstorm rocket battery.
Yep. And I see the Firebark Elders waddling over to pick a fight with some great swords. Oh, yes.
Oh, there they are.
Yes.
Hey, you little guys. Go get them. Now's your time to shine.
Get him. Yes.
A second Carrion unit is also going for the Hellstorm rocket battery. They're really trying to shut it down.
Trinket is such a derpy unit. That charge is so pathetic, but they're going to tear apart the great swords very, very quickly.
Yeah, they have really good splash damage.
Yeah. As well as they're so tanky.
I mean,
yeah.
Tanky is sin. 98 leadership while they're fighting.
Oh,
that's
my goodness.
Brutal.
Not to mention 1.5 million resistances. These poor Warriors of Chaos, yeah.
Yeah, they got nothing.
Yeah, Carrion looks like they did a pretty job shutting down that Hellstorm, but there is a lot of peel coming in for them. But, you know, those units being fused to peel are just stuck back here in the backfield and just so far away from actually contributing to any of these objectives that they do need to take very, very quickly. The red team has to 3-cap at this point. They're very far behind in objectives. There's a lot of ground to make up if they want to hang in this game.
I want to see the weird spawn that just got summoned fight the Firebark Elders to the death.
Where the weird? Oh, the weird spawn. They'll probably do pretty well. The armor sunder, you know, the fizz resist. Actually, Firebark Elders don't. Oh, they do have magical attacks. Yeah, I still favor the weird spawn personally, especially at this point with the HP difference.
Yeah, but the Firebark Elders are the hero of this narrative, so they'll somehow clutch it up.
That's true. They also have other Treekin friends. They have more Treekin friends. Empire Cav Vanguard coming in, but just getting torn apart by the Chosen of the Gods from downtown.
Hawkeyes of Jakira just got resummoned full ammunition.
Mm-hmm. Get some Way Watchers that are out of ammo.
Value.
Out of ammo Way Watchers valiantly charging forward. Okay, never mind. He realized. Darn. I was hoping we'd get some Way Watcher charges.
That is really funny when your ranged units run out of ammunition. Their default is just to charge into melee these days.
Oh yeah, it's great. Especially when they have terrible melee stats. And you get like a Flamer of Zinch who runs out of ammo. It's just like, ah yes! Charge! Anyway.
That's the good stuff. On the far side, Demigryph Knights and Empire Knights tried for a cheeky little cap on point 2, but Chosen of the Gods are going to make sure that that doesn't get very far, and then they get Spirit Leeched off the map.
Yeah, there's also some sneaky snakes hanging around that if anybody tries to get cute with Objective 2, they're going to get torn apart with the anti-large shooting from Eyes of the Desert. We got Wild Hunters of Kurnos teeing off against some Hellstriders and absolutely tearing apart. Jeez, that trade went really, really well for the Wild Hunters of Kurnos. Those Hellstriders did not stand a chance. You know, Hellstriders, despite being, you know, probably the best mobility unit in the game, maybe, you know, second best, they are incredibly squishy to anything that does beat them, so they're very, very quick to crumble. So more coming in, and we'll be penetrating the Wild Hunters of Kurnos and doing some really nice damage to them on the surround. But this is looking really rough for the forces of the red team.
I mean, they're already in the point where they'd have to triple cap, and they would have to do it very fast, and they're losing point 1, so we're definitely not getting a triple cap. I think it might possibly, potentially, be over, my lord.
Yeah. With all the shooting being resummoned for the Wood Elves and the Tomb Kings, there's so much fire support coming in to support all these infantry units fighting in the point. It's looking real dunzo here.
Hubby sounds a little low.
Hubby sounds a little low. I can fix that. I can also turn you up in Discord potentially.
Okay, you do that.
If I remember how.
Right click on my portrait and just drag the volume.
Yeah, I just didn't have your portrait because I was streaming. There we go. Okay. Does hubby sound better?
It's me, the
Yeah,
Hobbit.
I turned you up by like 50%.
The Hobbit's lad.
Yeah. And
All
that will
right.
be ODM taking our first round. Now.
Wood Elves advancing
Yeah. So
over Empire and Chaos.
we do have a pick ban format for this. This is not a set factions, so we will see players playing potentially different factions every round of the game, which should keep things nice and exciting.
The format is each team, so each player essentially gets a global ban, but it's 4 total global bans. And then if you pick a faction, nobody else in the 2v2 can pick that faction. So, like, since, let's say, Hanadin's first picked Wood Elves, I'm going to call them Faja. Faja and Kara couldn't pick Wood Elves, but they can pick anything else. And then Azabel, if they get last pick, can't pick Empire, Warriors of Chaos, or Wood Elves.
Yep.
All right. I have another replay. Did
I do
you
too.
also get that message?
I got it from Drakens.
Drakens.
Yes, my clanmate, the one person who actually sent me replays because nobody else did.
Okay, I got one from Lazuli's. I don't have the one from Drakens.
Lazulis is also my clanmate and didn't send me the replay. So if you would want to pass it on to me, I'd appreciate that.
All right, let's trade replays.
Okay.
Because I didn't get the Drakens one.
Okay.
This is 2v2 round 1. Beep. From Lazuli's.
Why is it not showing me the thing?
Because you didn't save it.
No, it's because I moved it.
I'm really sorry about my unprofessional caster friend.
Yeah.
This is an embarrassment. I'm so embarrassed right now. It's okay.
Alright. But I see Hawkeyes of Drakira getting 3,500 value, if you didn't notice that.
Yeah, that was great.
Way Watchers do putting in absolute work. And when you have so many bodies in the field, it's really hard to get after these type of self-sufficient missile units. Which is one of the things that makes Wood Elves actually a pretty potent combatant in 2v2s. Alright, what do you think the Firebark Elders got?
Oh, I already left the replays now. I'm just guessing. I don't know. 1.8k.
That's about double what they actually got. They got
900?
879.
Whoops, but they were still the best of boys.
That's very true.
Alright, dude. I gotta say, the 2v2s that were sent to us,
Yeah.
bangers.
Oh.
Absolute bangers.
Oh. What's in store for me?
You want to cast Brettonia and Greenskins, or do you want to cast Brettonia and High Elves? Got some Brett replays. Let's go.
Let's see, what do we got? We got Khorne Dwarves versus Brett High Elves, or Nurgle Dark Elves versus Brett Greenskins. I don't know. Which one are you feeling?
Let's get some green beans in here. Let's do the 2v2 R1.
2v2 R1? Alright.
Yeah, I'm loading in.
We got double green.
I'll pause it 10 seconds.
Alright. Sounds like you want the Greenskins.
Yeah, I do. Greenskins are actually my second favorite faction behind Skaven right now. That does not mean they are the second best.
Oh, not by a long shot.
They are my favorite. They're very fun. I've been having a really good time with them. Cool Umbrella is a pretty good Greenskin player. He has a lot of fun ideas he sends me. He sends me a lot of replays from them. So yeah, I've been having a good time. They need a little bit of love.
Yeah.
Okay. I am loaded in. I'll pause at 10 seconds and wait for you.
My potato PC is chugging along. I'll be there soon.
That's totally fine. Oh, but how do I answer this message? What factions am I good at? Someone's typing me asking what factions I'm good at.
The answer is all of them.
I do play all of them.
I saw the Iron Rat stream. I tried to snipe the Iron Rat stream.
That was actually a really fun stream.
Oh, I tried to snipe you. Alright, 10 seconds in. So you want Greenskins Brettonia?
Yes.
Alright. Whenever you're ready.
Okay. For the starting roster of Greenskins Brettonia, we do have the Green Knight, interestingly enough. There's a lot more magic damage in Game 3, so a ton of people got off the Green Knight train. And the Green Knight train was not that big to begin with, but it is interesting to see him here. Enchantress to help him out. some Knights of the Realm, Knights Errant, so it looks like cheap, heavy cav spam, and then some Archers and some Spearmen. And interestingly, we have 2 Grail Relics to give the Greenskins plus 12 leadership and ITP. So that is an interesting use of that. Greenskins have decent infantry, I guess. They used to be better. They've been struggling in game 3, but one of their big negatives is low leadership. So Grail Relics paired with them will actually keep them in the fight longer, get them more wah charges, keep them in the scrap.
I really
it's
like
an orc front line.
I really like this ITP aura spams. We have Black Orc Big Bosses and double Grail Relic. Sorry, triple Grail Relic, so just ITP for the whole army.
They ain't scared of nothing.
Nope.
It's an orc front line, Black Orcs, Orc Biggins, Black Orc Big Boss, and Grimgore, which means the Greenskins have not spawned a caster yet. That is it for this side.
Yeah, so Brettonia's actually been pretty strong in 2v2s lately. When you have the time to just go and micro your cav nonstop and just get as many charges as you like with the buff lance formation, they're actually a terror. We saw True Brettonian playing in 2v2s a lot lately with Brettonia alongside a lot of Wood Elves and stuff, and they are just an absolute nightmare to deal with. Anyway, for the forces of Nurgle and Dark Elves. So Nurgle has this really, really nasty blob that I'm not sure if you're aware of, where you take Festus with his healing aura usually, a Cultist of Nurgle with Icon of Eternal Virulence and Warrior Bane, and the Barons of the Bog, and then stack that with the Poison, and then it's about 60% reduced weapon strength for everything in the AoE, everything within 35 meters. So Objective 2 will belong to Nurgle unless they get shot off. There is nothing that can stand up to them in that blob. Even Grimgore will be taken down to about 200 weapon strength.
Yeah,
so
that sounds about right. They're going to have to shoot them.
Yeah. So that's all backed up with Chaos Warriors of Nurgle, as well as the Festering Stooges. And then for the Dark Elves, we have Malekith, your favorite lord. I know you love this guy so much.
God, I hate Malekith.
Then we have... Yeah. Got a line of Dark Shards, protected by Corsairs and Witch Elves. Witch Elves are a really interesting choice, but I really like Witch Elves. It'd be a really nice punishment tool for those Brettonian cavalry. You know, they charge in, and then when they try to pull out, they get rampaged and stuck in and just killed off. I really, really like the Witch Elves here. As well as just having insane damage output on their own. Although they are pretty squishy, but with not a whole lot of shooting for Brettonian Greenskins, they could actually do quite well.
I noticed that the most with Bjorn, he takes a lot of Witch Elves these days, but like a lot of Dark Elf players are catching on and including at least one Witch Elf in their army because the Rampage is so nice. And the unit itself is pretty cost effective even without the Rampage. Now, you don't want them to be your entire front line, but 1 or 2 just to keep your enemy on their toes and dissuade a lot of cav charges is quite nice.
Yeah, I've been doing that myself in Dom too. Witch Elves are just a really, really nice inclusion. The Rampage, the DPS, it's incredible. Alright,
ready to hit play?
3, 2, 1, play!
Does the Cultist have a summon?
No.
Okay.
You just take him for the debuffs.
Yeah, most people opted out of the summons. Early Warhammer 3 summons were the rage, but I feel like the Plague Bearer summon just doesn't get its value, because Plague Bearers are meant to stand there for a really long time. Well,
the problem I find is that it's so hard to charge it. The Cultist charges summon when he's below 75% HP, but this Cultist is the tankiest bastard in the game. Like, he just doesn't spend much time below, like, low HP. So I find that he almost never gets to charge it up.
Yeah. And then, like, even if you get that, you're summoning a defensive unit with a timer, and it's like, well, what's the point of a defensive unit if it's going to die after a set time? Like, even the Khorne Bloodletters, super squishy but high DPS, they usually last their entire summon, and then they fade away, and it's like, okay, summoning a tanky unit is pointless.
It can be kind of nice in Dom to summon a Plague Bearer to let on, like, the edge of the point to just body block your opponent off, but it's pretty situational. And, like, back when Dom was a lot shorter, it was very, very common and very, very strong, but with the extra time, that doesn't have as much impact as it used to.
Yeah.
And this is what I was kind of talking about. Knights are just completely free to do whatever they want, and look at the charge damage. They just go right through these Corsairs and into the Witch Elves.
Oh,
and they can go straight. They can go straight in these Dark Shards. There's nothing to stop them if they feel like it.
Yeah, I just thought they take a volley from some of these other Dark Shards and get rampaged.
Yeah, that could be a problem. But these are only 700 gold Knights, you know? Get whatever value you can and then resummon them. You got so many supplies into 2v2, just send it, get whatever damage you can, shut down the archers as quickly as possible, and just get your value. And Dark Elf Infantry are so susceptible to this. They're incredibly squishy, have very, very low mass, and these Knights are just free to rampage all over their opponent's backline. These Knights are an absolute terror for Dark Elves to deal with.
The Lance formation buff's really, really helping out. You can see how much damage they're doing on all these charges.
And they're still not rampaging.
Malekith needs to dive in there and just start hitting some things.
Yeah, but Malekith dives in. We've got the Green Knight coming over here to start punishing him. But Malekith doesn't have magic attacks, so the Green Knight can actually lay the smackdown on him. So he needs to be a little bit careful about that. We do have some Cold One Knights coming in, and I think that's the right choice. They do very, very well into all the Armored Brettonian Cav. And they should be able to put a stop to this rampaging, but not before these Dark Shards eat another charge for about a third of their HP. They're doing so much damage for only what's this, a 700 gold knight? Yeah, 700 gold knight. Just a couple of charges, already getting a lot of value on this infantry. The lance formation buffs are formidable, to say the least.
Yeah, and Brettonia needed it. It needed something.
Oh, yeah, I mean, Brettonia's the Cav faction. Having a nice, unique Cav buff is pretty neat. And look at that damage. Dark Elf infantry is just not equipped to deal with these armored Cav units. They really need some kind of, they need these Cold One Knights to come in and protect them. Or maybe even some Chaos
Rampage out, though.
Oh, yep, there's the Rampage. The Witch Elves are piling in. They should be doing good damage. On the far side, we do have the Blobs colliding, and Cultist is in there. The Barons of the Bog would love to get up to that front line along with Festus, get the healing up in the front line, keep those Chaos Warriors alive. What spell kit did Festus actually bring? We didn't check it. Miasma, Fleshy, and Stream of Corruption. Very, very often what you see with Nurgle players is they just take the two cheapest spells, like Miasma and Stream, and just passive spam to get that map-wide healing. And we got a giant ulti into the fray on objective number 2 as well. Alright, I want to see this debuff blob, how low it can... Oh, he's outside the range of the debuff blob. I want to see how low his melee or weapon strength can go. But right now it's only at 615.
Yeah, the Giant's pretty happy. The Giant's pretty happy the Festering Stooge used his other ammo before he got here, because now he can kind of rampage through.
These Black Orcs are breaking very, very quickly. The Barons of the Bog debuffs, they're down to 24 weapon strength. But these fire arrows from the Peasant Bowmen are doing some good work from long range, trying to focus down that Cultist. Grimgor is actually on Festus. Without the Barons and the Cultists here to protect him, Festus is not going to be happy about that fight. Grimgor is a nasty combatant, and Festus is just a supportive character. He wants to leave.
He has 10 melee defense due to your next. Now it's rough, so he's back up to 50, but for a bit there, he was not feeling too healthy. Yeah,
Festus needs to get the Barons and the Cultists over here to protect him. Right now, he's just trying to waddle away. He's got the heals up, so he should be just fine, but Grimgor will lay the smackdown on him if he's able to catch him. And here come the big boys, the Toads. This Giant's down to 334 weapon, 159 weapon strength on the Giant. This blob is gross. Malekith's coming in to help him out as well, but Festus needs to run. Grimgor's able to just beat on him, and he still has a whopping 214 weapon strength, so, he might actually kill Festus someday.
Someday.
Back on the other side, the Brettonian Cav is just running rampant. The Dark Elf front line has crumbled. There's still some Dark Shards online, as well as some Dread Knights coming to try and just curtail the Dark Elf and the Brettonian Cav. But now there's so few infantry units over here for the Dark Elves, the Orc boys are just piling in and tearing up what remains. It's actually looking kind of rough for the Dark Elves over here. Cold and Dread Knights should do just fine to these Grail Knights. Oh wait, those are Grail Knights. I don't know about that one, Chief. I'm not sure who's favored in that fight.
Grail Knights. Cold and Dread Knights rely on pretty heavy stats, but if they get charged, which they are, they're going to get outclassed by the Grail Knights pretty significantly. Yeah, they do have some Nurgling support to try and run away too, but the Grail Knights are actually doing loads and loads of damage. That's another of the nice things about Brettonia and 2v2 is you can bring these expensive knights that can dominate the battlefield. Yeah, because then your your friend can get some meat. The Brettonian archers that really want to punish this blob are trying to get in range, but they took them forever to get through some Chaos Warriors. Now they're firing at Black Arc Corsairs. They got to be careful not to use all their ammo before they get over here to help Grimgor, because, you're going to need ammunition to break that blob, not melee stats. We do have a Trebuchet now firing into the blob as well, so a bit of that ranged pressure coming in should punish this big cluster. Do you know what I see? I see Orc Boar Chariots. Oh, yeah, they're trying. They're trying indeed. Blessed Field Treb should be getting some good shots in here. The nice thing is you can fire in this blob with impunity because it is no friendly fire, but oh, poor Grimgor. He's being circle beat by the Barons, the Cultist, and Malekith. He is in a rough spot, but Faye is actually in here just draining down this entire blob. All these Chaos Warriors, Festering Stooges, but she is pretty unsupported. If these characters just turn around and decide to end Faye, that she could just be done. Looks like we do have, what is that? Is that Soul Stealer? Okay, yeah, Soul Stealer coming down, just getting Malekith some healing, but Grimgor is in trouble. He's only got 450 weapon strength, so Malekith should be able to just tear him apart, but Brettonia really needs to break through onto Objective 1. I feel like they have the force over here. They just need to make a decision. I feel like they're just trying to fight for both sides of the map, and they're ending up losing out on both, while Nurgle just hangs on through their healing. I'm curious we haven't seen a Dwellers Below on this blob yet. I wonder if the Fae's just been spamming Earthbloods and doesn't have any Winds of Magic, but definitely should be seeing...
Oh, looks like we got Chalice of Potions coming down. But looks like the Nurgle blob is just gonna move.
Yeah, they're targeting the Fae and she left.
Oh, still some nice damage, though.
Yeah, still good hit. Still good hit.
Yeah, get some nice chaos warriors. Grimgor is getting beaten, though, and with that blob surrounding him, there's no way he's going to be able to get desummoned or run away. So it looks like Grimgor is going to die off, and that leadership hit to Greenskins, it can be very, very brutal.
I'm kind of surprised how long he is lasting.
Well, he's a tanky boy. He's got 80 melee defense somehow. Oh, he's got Stand Your Ground and Bloodforged armor, so...
Yeah.
He's got a pretty full kit. Not to mention, he's got a Grail Relic buffing his leadership, so he's got really good leadership.
Oh, yep, that explains a lot. I was like, I feel like Grimgor's lasting a long time.
Yeah, there's 2 Grail Relics in this blob, and oh, geez, the Arachnoid Queen got here. I didn't even notice. Arachnoid Queen just grinding into the Chaos Warriors as well. Yeah.
She stumbled in. She's going to throw out some summons, try and offer a little bit of support. Those archers are finally in range, but now they're running out of ammunition.
Oh, give me that Grail Knight charge right in the back of these Chaos Warriors. Couch them lances, boys. Okay, that was a little underwhelming. They're not AP, I guess. But they get here just in time to eat that massive Soul Stealer from Malekith, which is really, really unfortunate. Okay, Grimgor is routing off, and yeah, Brettonia and Greenskins are having a hard time breaking through on either side. Greenskins should be able to overwhelm this point soon, but that melee debuff blob will get back in the fight, and if Festus can just come over here and start Mortis Engineering down all of these units here, he'll just farm so much value so quickly.
Yeah, the Fae also needs to recommit. She needs to stay in the melee fight.
Yeah, if you're going to take it. And down goes Grimgor. Malekith claims another. I'm sure you're very happy to see it. I know I am.
God, I hate Malekith.
I love Malekith. On the far side, Brettonia is starting to break through on Objective 1, but there's a massive reinforcement of Nurgle Marauders and Chaos Warriors coming in, so I don't know if they'll be able to hold it, along with some Witch Elves here to punish these Cav units. It'll be really, really nasty.
I think Brettonia needs to summon more archers near point 2. They've been committing pretty heavily to summoning Cav and Cav and Cav, but it's just not really doing enough. Like, it's doing well, but I think not summoning 1 more Cav piece and getting 2 more archers to support this blob fight would be a little more helpful.
Yeah, I agree. Especially since Nurgle and Dark Elves don't really have a lot of tools to pressure them. I mean, the Peasant Bows on Objective number 2 just got to sat there and spend all their ammo the entire time. Like, one of them just even ran into melee and is currently fighting Malekith because it was just able to just be left alone. Neither side had to think about it because there was no pressure on it.
Yeah.
But the Greenskin blob is wearing out. The leadership debuff from losing their lord, as well as just the melee blob that's just nuking all of their melee weapon strength. This Arachnoid Queen has 220 weapon strength. They're just not able to deal damage, and with the healing coming in from Festus, there's just nothing dying on the side of Nurgle. And this is why Nurgle is so strong in 2v2s. This blob is absolutely disgustingly brutal.
Yeah. I think ranged is the way to go with that, and Brettonia just, maybe the Greenskins, if they have Orc Arboys or something, they just need to summon more archers, because currently they keep committing more melee assets to a melee fight, and they're not winning it. Yeah.
I think they also could have just, committed heavily to one side and the other. Try playing the open field where your Cav is a little more potent. When you're playing this little tight box over here, there's not a lot of room for your Cav to maneuver, so maybe play over towards Objective 1, play around your win condition a little bit more.
Grail Knights and the Fae are both rampaging in some Witch Elves.
Yep, but Fae will be just fine. She is mounted, so the Witch Elves won't tear her apart. So she should be fine, right? Nothing can kill off Fae, right?
It's 30 melee defense.
30. She's 31. It'll be fine.
I don't know.
No, she needs some help. She needs some knights over here, and there are knights coming in to pile on out and help her. Yep. The Simps of Brettonia have come to the defense of their lady. Yep,
Nurgle and Dark Elves look like they're owning point 2 pretty heavily. Point 1 has been contested the entire game.
Oh my goodness,
it's just not going anywhere.
Where's the Greenskin caster? I see Greenskin spells going down. They're casting Get Back here just for a leadership buff. Just try and keep these knights in the fight. Where is...
Oh. Get Back here's a
is that an ability? I definitely know Greenskins.
Did the Greenskins never summon a caster?
I don't see a Greenskin caster.
That's a mistake.
Nah.
You need the WOM.
Yeah, like it's a massive resource for not a lot. You can spend it and get a ton of value. It's like Malekith is now coming for this Face Knight. There are some Grail Knights that could lend their aid, but yeah, she's just quick enough.
They're busy butchering Dark Shards.
As one does. Oh my god, Malekith's awesome already hit his heal cap. He's being fleshied. Malka's just hunting Faye, but he's not taking off, so he's just waddling after her awkwardly. I'm going to get you.
He's taking forever to take
I'm
off.
going to get you. I'm going to get you. Yeah, he's just not He might be on landed mode, yeah.
Yeah. He's just waddling. Look at him go.
He's just waddling his ass over there. He'll get there eventually. And we have some Grail Guardians on the field, too, just tearing apart these Witch Elves. There goes Malekith. I knew you could do it, bud. Yeah, it looks like the Greenskins single entities are starting to rotate over to objective number, what is this? 1? 2? Yeah, 1. Realizing that the blob fight on objective 2 against Nurgle is just not worth it. Got a nice Breath of Deck coming in, just roasting those Goblin Wolf Riders and Boar Boys. Nice,
It
nice
is
damage.
Too late, though,
It is indeed too late.
We need a triple cap, so taking point 1 will slow down the bleeding, but you got to figure out a way to take point 2.
Yeah. I remember how I said earlier on that in 2v2s you tend to have a lot of resources and not a lot to summon? We got a lot of players floating over 3,000 supplies.
Yeah, Nurgle and the Greenskins just chilling around 4k.
Yeah. Well, when you got this much healing for Nurgle, nothing ever dies, so nothing's ever resummonable. And like, look, he just summoned in all of these infantry and he's still floating 3,000 funds. Oh, Nurgle is so gross in 2v2s.
Yeah. He just needs some of that support. You know, he needs some archer friends, some cav, some flying presence, and Dark Elves can bring that.
Yeah,
I don't think Dark Elves is the best pairing with Nurgle, but it seems to be working okay.
Yeah, well, really anything that can, make up for your mobility weaknesses and then help you concentrate your forces. You don't have good monsters, infantry, or missiles to layer on top of your infantry, so anything that pairs well in that regard, as well as shoring up your mobility weaknesses, is really, really good with Nurgle. What?
Just realized Brettonia brought the Grail release. You could have ITP trolls.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I mean, you can do it with the Blackrock big bosses too.
Yeah, I just realizing what this was for because they've had plus 12 leadership from that, and then the Blackrock big boss. These trolls had like.
Oh yeah, these trolls are going nuts. Yeah.
Giants in here too, fighting Malekith. Malekith's getting his ass handed to him.
Yeah, without the Barons of the Bog here to debuff them, they're actually doing a lot of work against Malekith. But I fear it's a little too late. Like, yeah, the red team has to 3-cap, and look at this Nurgle blob just sitting passively on objective number 2. Like, what is anybody going to do about that? There are more archers coming in, but it's not going to be...
If they send all their resources over to 2 from now on, they can just hold it until the end of time, and they'll be okay.
Yep, I mean, they can hold objective 1 for quite a long time, too.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah. Malekith needs to get the heck out of there, but he's surrounded by trolls, so... What is that spell coming down I saw? I saw a spell. Don't lie to me, game. Must have been a quick
Grimgor's respawned.
Oh, is Grimgor back for round 2?
He is back for round 2. He's not
He's
even going to
waddle his way to the objective. The Grimgor experience, my friends. Look at that fight in the distance, Grimgor. It'll be glorious. Look at that big old dragon. And he will never reach it because the game is about to end.
But man, he's trying.
Boy, yeah. Grimgor is trying. But that will be Lazulus and Drew taking the dub. Showing off the power of Nurgle in 2v2s. Oh gosh, Nurgle is disgusting.
I mean, that is by design.
That is lore accurate, yes.
It's the exact phrasing they want you to use, too.
Infantry doing good work for Nurgle. Witch Elves kind of got hammered by those cav. Alright, Human Boy, how much value do you think Malekith got?
6k.
5k.
I'm pretty close.
Just shy of 5k.
Archard's actually doing pretty good, too.
Putting in work, jeez, yeah. All those Brettonian cav to shoot at, they probably accrued plenty of value. Just super elite cav to shoot.
I'm checking Jazale's build, the Greenskins. He really didn't... He didn't bring a caster at all. Like, it's not that he didn't summon one, he just didn't bring one.
The Brettonian Knights value, jeez. Like, they were summoned plenty of times, but just the basic Knights got over 2k value each.
Yeah, that was nice. I think the problem wasn't the combination. I think the problem was the builds. Greenskins bring a bunch of melee-dependent single entities to fight against Nurgle, as we were discussing. Replace one of them with a caster. Replace the other one with some Orc Armor Boys or more Goblins or something. Actually, I think Brettonia's backup shouldn't have had as many peasants. The Greenskins could have focused on like melee infantry, and Brettonia could have been cav and archers or something. But the cav play was really good. I think Grimgor was a solid shout out. I like the ITP troll aura stuff. Like, I think those were clever. The only issue was archers and no caster for the Greenskins. It was opting into a melee fight that Nurgle wants rather than shooting him to death.
The one problem for that playstyle for Greenskins and Brett in Domination 2v2s is that each player can only have 20 units on the field at a time. So if you're trying to spam out, cheap infantry and archers, you actually cap how many units you can have on the field, which does kind of hurt that strategy quite a bit.
Fair.
Alright, so that's Lazulus and Drew taking that game. So now we have Hippo Dragon versus Plague Penguin and Dracacol? I'm not familiar with this person, but I have another Brettonia game for you.
He's Blood Penguin's buddy.
Okay.
I've never seen Dracacol out of a 2v2 tournament, but every 2v2 tournament Plague Penguin's in, he's in.
Like Penguin just slides into his DMs like, hey bud, it's time.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
Right,
like, Penguin's definitely better.
Oh,
Penguin's like a super elite player, and Dracacol's is like, he's fine. He's serviceable. Like, I'm not trying to shit talk the guy, but he's also not. He's not going to beat Void Lols in the finals of anything, right?
Well, nobody's going to beat Void Lols because nobody lets him in any finals anymore.
Yeah, fair. But whenever I see this 2v2, it's usually Penguin operating a lot of heavy cav and doing some pretty nifty carrying, and Dracacol's usually has like the army core, like the front line and the archers and the more stationary units.
And that's honestly a really nice system for 2v2s. That's what I was doing when I was playing 2v2s with my buddy. And it works really well. Just have one person do all the slow stuff and make all the decision calls, like the big large scale decision, and the other person just focus on microing a lot of units. It's a really nice system in my experience.
And Penguin's really good at like Kislev, Brett, and Empire as 3 mains, so he loves cavalry play, and I'm not shocked to see him playing Brettonia here.
I hope we could see him just maximizing the value of this cav he can get. Alright, pausing at 10 seconds.
I am indeed paused at 10 seconds.
Alright, which side do you want?
You can cover your clan mates, the lads, the boys.
Yep. Alright, so you want to go first? Or do you want me to do?
You got it. I'm already staring at Thoric Bitchbrow.
Alright, your favorite, Thoric Bitchbrow. I agree. This guy's a fuck. This guy fucking sucks. Fuck this guy. He's stupid OP.
not to slow down the stream or anything, but did you see during my last stream I was freaking out because the Grumbling Guard, the ROR Longbeards, their whole thing since game 2 has been
Vigor.
The Vigor aura. It's 1/5 as effective as Thoric's.
As well as Thorking ITP. And this aura is a large part of the reason why Thoric is so good, especially in a 2v2. Perfect Vigor and ITP on heckin' Minotaurs is nutty.
Yeah, it's pretty nutty.
Not to mention,
why is he 5 times better at it than the ROR though? Why?
Yeah. Also, he didn't actually bring the extra armor. I feel like the extra 15 armor on the Minos would also be really, really nice. But he's had the minus armor for his opponents, just probably a little more support, as well as some rune magic, as well as Felix to keep him alive and keep him healed up. And that healing is actually going to be really, really nice, because it also is going to apply to Valkia, who's going to need it to square off with Imrik, who is typically a counter to her, because she does do fire damage. She's a ton of fire resist, so Valky's going to need to be a little careful. Anyway, backing all that up, we just have Longbeard, frontline, Dwarf Warriors, Longbeards, some heavy Dwarf Infantry, Dwarf Dragonfire Pass, Longbeards, just backed up with a bunch of Minos and a couple of Khorne Warriors and Halberds. Keeping it simple, we just got the meat for Dwarves and Khorne, and I like it. It's a very Khorne-style Dwarf build. I'm here for it.
I also love the double no-caster of Dwarves and Khorne.
Well, I mean, we have double pseudo-caster with Valky and Thoric.
Fair. On the other side, it is Brettonia. With Fey double paladin this time, we have Foot Squire spam, questing knights, then some men-at-arms, more Foot Squires, and another of those Grail Reliques. And for the High Elves, we're starting out with Imrik on a Dragon, and that's going to eat up a lot of your starting funds. So behind that, we have the Everqueen's Court Guards, the Survivor Lord ROR, 3 White Lions of Christ, and a Mage of Life with Regrowth and Earthblood. But I imagine there'll be much more High Elves to come because, again, Imrik is eating like half of their starting cost right now.
Yep. Imrik better put the team on his back for the price you got to pay for him, but that could be kind of difficult against Minotaurs with great weapons.
Yeah, it's tough to land them. There's also matchups like that, like the Chaos matchup where Malekith has a hard time landing on his dragon, because if he ever does, Archaon's going to be on his ass.
Yeah.
All right, ready to go?
Yep. 3, 2, 1, go. And this matchup's not as bad because the one who'll be on his ass is Valkia, but as I said, she does fire damage, he has fire resist, so he is typically thought of as a counter to Valkia, and he can make her life pretty difficult.
Big agree.
Yep.
Yeah, we have some forest questing knights trying to sneak along the edge of the map.
Oh, I didn't even notice that, yeah.
Need to get a rear engagement, but I don't know. Questing knights, I've had several rants about them. there's nothing wrong with their unit card. Looking across their unit card, Questing Knights sound like they'd be really good, but just for some reason, I never see them do well. I don't know why.
I think it's Brettonia Cav typically relies on their charge bonus, and they have a pretty low charge bonus compared to the other ones. They want to like sit and fight, but their melee stats, if they're going to sit and fight monsters, infantry, or infantry, just doesn't compare. And we do have gyros coming in as well. I kind of like this gyros with Khorne, with Valky and Fury's support. Can actually be a really, really potent combo.
Eurocopters.
Well, so it looks like we are just winding up for a massive fight on objective number 2. Looks like both sides are just thinking, yep, the other objectives are too far in my opponent's territory. We're just going to take objective 2 and we're going to fight for it. God damn it. We have a great eagle.
Chasing down.
Yeah, it's not something you see very often. Jeez.
Valky is going to tear it apart, and if she pops Demon
Not
Shield...
if Imric's here.
Yeah, but she can Demon Shield, ignore him for a bit, then when it wears off, she can land.
Could if she brought the Demon Shield, but she doesn't have it.
Why didn't you bring the Demon Shield?
I was waiting for you to notice that. She ain't got it. She ain't got the Demon Shield, yeah.
I'm kind of
I don't know, man. It's expensive.
There they go. Now
if they landed, the Paladins would have been right on top of them. Flippin was doing a good job just shadowing the Paladins in the face, so that if they landed, they would be in trouble too. Hey, GS, welcome to the stream, dude. Now, the Dwarves are just heating up, and I suspect these Dwarves will just destroy all these Foot Squires and White Lions with Thoric support, and the anti-infantry Minos will just do really, really good work here. And the Everqueen's
Dwarves committing pretty heavily to point 2. I think they want to set up a base of operations where Thoric and Felix can sit in melee combat, so Felix can provide a healing aura, and then have places where Valkyria can dip in for some healing and leave again. So they probably want to set up point 2 as like a middle of the map medicine tent.
We have another Great Eagle coming in. I have not seen this many Great Eagles in a long time.
Royal Hippogriff Knights from Brettonia too.
Yeah, they came prepared for the gyros. Just got a lot of air force to come and deal with things. So that means they don't have a lot of boots on the ground. Not a lot to tear apart all these Longbeards that are being buffed by Thoric, and these anti-infantry Minos, which will be tearing apart these Foot Squires. Or not, as they bait me and charge somewhere else.
Yeah, there's other Minos that are tearing apart other Men-at-Arms, but not the Foot Squires.
Oh, yeah. Oh, jeez, the Men-at-Arms are already dead. The Minos have already gotten 50 kills, already charging up that Blood Greed, doing loads and loads of work. The White Lions as well aren't going to do that well in those Minotaurs. Those Hippogriff Knights, like you said, are coming over to try and start fucking with the Dwarves, but they're going to have to put in a lot of work to win Objective 2 for them. And the Minos are already in the backfield. They're already almost on top of the Everqueen's Court Guards, who haven't even fired a volley yet. Now, the Everqueen's Court Guards do have good melee stats, but Minos are nasty.
Yeah, they're brutal. Though it looks like their days are numbered with the Paladin, Royal Hippogriff Knights, and White Lions of Christ all
I don't know. Rune of Doom is popped. They've got 76 melee attack. They'll put a hurting on those Demigriffs if they're not careful.
It's not their melee attack I'm worried about, it's their melee defense.
True. But they have support coming in. More Minos and Minos with Grey Opens. This could be a turn very, very quickly if these backup can get here for these Minos. And that melee defense might be low, but they're still monstrous infantry, which means they're hard as hell to kill.
Down to half HP, but the other Minos are joining as you
said. The rear charge.
Yeah,
the rear charge from the Great Weapons. Yeah, look at those Demigriffs, or Hippogriffs, just taking a load of damage from these Great Weapons really, really quickly. The infantry support is dying off as well, so they're just taking all the hits straight to the face from all these Minos. With Thoric here to just make sure they permanently have perfect vigor. My god, I hate Thoric.
Chalice of Potions is coming down from the Fae. It's going to hit 3 different infantry units, it looks like, mostly on these Longbeards and Marauders of Khorne. Good damage onto them. The Everqueen's Court Guard is offering a bit of fire support.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Everqueen's Court Guard...
Dragonhorn's blown!
The Dragonhorn?
I heard the Vuvuzela doing.
Yep, it is... I don't know, might have popped, it might be over by now. That's the problem with Dragonhorn, it's just such a short duration. Thoric is just better. Thoric is, however, surrounded by both Paladins, but he does have some Dwarf Warriors here to support him, as well as... Oh, a beautiful Breath Attack just gets right on those... Oh, Bloodletters. Exalted Bloodletters. Oh boy, if those can get on the Everqueen's Court Guards and these White Lions, they will tear them apart. The other side, looks like Valky's just catching some cav, not a whole lot happening. It's really just centered around Objective 2. The Everqueen's Court Guard are doing that thing you love where they can't get a line of sight, so they walk up to melee to get a line of sight. So they're a danger close to all of their opponents. You need to be very, very careful. But these trees are also offering a lot of cover to the force of Khorne and the Dwarves. Khorne is just racking up the value, and my god, Minos are so hard to kill, dude. Yeah, with Felix here to support Thoric as well, these Paladins are actually having a pretty rough go of actually killing off Thoric. Beautiful Dwellers below.
Yeah, Longbeards and Exalted Bloodletters getting caught in that. That should be able to power I'm kind of surprised Imric hasn't opted into the fight now.
There you go. Going right on Felix. Gotta get rid of that healing. That Thoric Felix combo is nasty. They can duel most characters in the game. It's really, really brutal to deal with. Now, what else we got coming in? We got some Ekrum's Miners coming in. We got some Slayers. We got some Horsemen of Khorne as well coming to throw some axes at the White Lions. Good choice. Minotaur Great Ones are coming in to start backing up Imric. And some good damage. Rune of Dune is popped again, so these Minos are hitting every hit against Imric. And Imric is taking a beating.
Yeah, he needs to opt out.
There's plenty of healing for him available, so he should be able to opt back in before too terribly long, but looks like the backfield is fairly compromised for the High Elves. The Evergreen's Courtyard are trying to fire in. They are getting disrupted by Fleshhounds as well as Minotaurs. Brettonia is trying desperately to peel for them, but they're just under so much pressure. The Dwarven front line is not buckling either, and they're just pushing them back and back and back. Faye is almost dead. Valkyrie nearly got the snipe on Faye. Faye is routed. If Felix and Thor can actually chase her off, or those gyros, Faye's about to die.
The gyros got her. She's about to shatter.
Yeah.
Oh,
Dragon Horde is popped. Oh, Imric's doing the thing to Valkyrie. He's just pushing her around and not hitting. They're just hanging out. They're buddies. You know, those gyros are going to try to pursue and take out Faye. Faye only has 250 HP, one good volley, and she's a goner. And again, that's just a massive loss immediately. She still has a lot of wall, I'd wager. That's a lot of healing down there.
There's a great eagle that's going to try and peel for her. Oops, she's
dead. She is in fact dead, and that's, like I said, a lot of healing gone. A lot of buffs gone, that Mortis gone, and a leadership debuff to your entire army. That's, well, the entire Brett army. It's really, really rough. Imric and the Paladins are going back on Thoric, but Felix is still here, as well as some Fleshhounds. And then we can get some Slayers over here as well, maybe. Thoric's taking a bit of a beating there. Come on, Fleshy Hounds. You gotta go protect your dwarf friend.
They're busy getting shot. They don't care.
Yeah, Minos are getting into the backfield onto Everqueen's Courtyard, who do have to run away in terror, like the little bitch elves they are.
Yeah, the other Miners with the great weapons are going to go attack point 1, and they're going to take a fight with some Questing Knights and some Foot Squires. They don't give a shit. They'll kill them all.
Felix is beating the shit out of these Paladins. Felix has just destroyed 2 Paladins.
Felix doesn't care.
Felix don't give a shit, dude. Yeah, Slayer's coming in to support, as well as some Longbeards. Imbric's got to go again. This Paladin's not long for this world. Look at the volley of skirmish gun fire coming in onto Imric. Though there is flame damage, so, yeah.
Does fire damage, he'll be okay. He has missile resist and fire resist, so he's chilling.
Yeah, he'll be fine. But there's a lot less healing on the field for him now with Fagon. He does still have a life caster of his own, but you know, you need that wand for other things too.
Dwarves and Khorne overwhelmingly hold point 2. They have a ton of infantry and support around the area. This one White Lion that somehow snuck out of the point isn't going to be enough to take it.
So we got another... Oh, that's a Foot Squire, not an Exalted Bloodletter. Yeah. The Khorne Halberd is just holding Objective 3 just fine. Yeah, they just said, nope, everything's fighting on Objective 2. Just having a massive blob fight. And Dwarves and Khorne are hard to beat in that. Ooh, nice breath attack coming out on the Longbeards, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. It looks like... Was that the sound of the last Dragon Horn? Sounded like it, but I don't see it going off. Maybe he canceled it with the breath attack.
Yeah, I probably canceled it. By the way, point 1 is also getting taken by blue-green.
Oh yeah, it looks like an accident too, because he's just chasing those cav off. Now, I do worry that Khorne and Dwarfs have gone a little bit deep here. This position so far forward makes it very easy for Brettonia and the High Elf cav to just surround and get some rear charges. And if they're careful, they take some big losses, but they are up a ton of value, so it may not matter. Everqueen's Courtyard are still firing, but still haven't paid for themselves.
Drakral also has almost 3k funds on the back burner. He needs to summon a bunch of shit.
It's a pretty common problem for High Elves in 2v2, is that their leadership is so good, nothing ever routes, so it doesn't get back in your summoning pools. You can't spend those funds. It's such a big factor in 2v2, so just make sure you have some way to spend your funds. That's why things like Fleshhounds are so good. Because, you know, they go in, they fight, they die, they come back.
Disintegrating is actually weirdly a good thing in Dom, as opposed to natural, normal leadership.
Especially in 2v2s, because you have just so much funds available all the time. What we got coming in? We got more gyros coming in, we got Longbeards, we got Miners. This is looking pretty strong for the Dwarf side. There's just a massive force of Dwarfs left on Objective 2, all of which have perfect vigor thanks to Thoric, as well as infinite runes of doom. And Objective 3 is just completely uncontested from Brettonia and the High Elves.
They did hold Objective 1, which is a little surprising. Looks like Draken is just holding off the point. He doesn't want to stand on the point for some reason. Now he's starting to opt in.
Yeah, he was waiting for his halberds to catch up, I think.
They are pretty slow.
Yeah, the Minotaur's got a little bit ahead and a little bit in trouble. Valkyria's in a bit of danger, though. Imric, yeah, she's just out running away. She is quite a bit faster than Imric, so she should be fine just keeping him at bay.
Faye's back.
Faye is back? Faye is back, yeah. Like I said, you got plenty of funds. Why not resummon her? You've still got plenty of WOM, and she provides so many buffs and get rid of that Lord Loss penalty, so it's huge for her to be back on the field.
Though for Brettonia and the High Elves, I am still very concerned. They're, they've been double capped almost the entire game.
Ooh, nice. Chalice Potions. Yeah, that's the other thing. Her House Potions uses to get refreshed when you resummon her. So that's 2 more of those. We do have some Lion Chariots of Grace coming in, but I worry. These things, I've tried them against Dwarves many times, and they've disappointed me every time.
Yeah. Chariots in game 3.
Unless you're getting a nice downhill charge, it's not really worth it. Ooh, nice dodge on the Dwellers from Hippo. Get those Dwarves right out of there. Hippogriff Knights are just only 4 models left, only 1,000 hit points, but they're still trying, still hanging in there fighting these Dwarves, but yeah. It's looking pretty rough for the forces of the red team. With the Minotaurs beginning to resummon, as well as a fresh line of Dwarf and infantry. Looking really, really hard to come back from. Imbric's in trouble. He's caught by Minos, Valkia, and Fleshhounds. This could be the end of him if he's not very careful. Fortunately, they aren't anti-large Minos, but this is still looking pretty sketchy for him.
Yeah, his back's also open, so he could walk out of here. Now, sometimes he can get back on the sky.
That's coward talk. That's coward talk. You don't run. Oh, Imric's a coward. His heal cap is also in sight, so he's a little bit concerned about that. Looks like he does have... That's not a heal. What is that? Rune of Slowness. With the Fleshhounds chasing him, he's going to have a hard time getting back in the air, and there are anti-large Minos coming for him. If there's a Horn of Corn available... Was that a Dragon Horn?
That was the last Dragon Horn. He blew it, and it did more damage to him because Thoric...
Oh, Thoric's... Yeah. But these anti-large Minos, if they can pin in Imric, which they can, they're going to pin him into the rock, and he's going to die off here if he's not careful. He's got to get some kind of support over here, some kind of Brett Cav. Okay, no. No, he just squeaks by. He should get out of this.
He's walking.
Take him down, boys. Take him down, boys. Nah, he's just going to keep waddling away. What is it with dragons and water on this map? Yeah.
But, I don't know.
He's going to counterpunch.
All these dwarves.
Yeah, they're pretty far behind in value. They're like 5k behind in value, and they just don't have the same cycling speed. So Drakal is floating 5,000 funds because he just doesn't have things to summon. Everything's been tattered and routing and not recharging in his reserves, so he just hasn't been able to summon anything. So that's a beautiful Dwellers catching the Minos and the Iron Breakers on objective number 2, but I just don't know that's going to be enough. They're just so far behind, and yeah, just got to make sure they're summoning things as quickly as they can. Some nice dodges coming from Hippo today. He's very, very on top of just dodging as many spells as possible. It's denying a lot of value to the Fae. He's been summoned twice, and okay, no, she's got 3,300 value. That's not bad for a 1,600 gold lord. Not bad at all. Yeah. But I mean, oh my goodness. So yeah, they realized, green team realized they have to, their opponents have to 3 cap. So if you look at objective 3, they're doing something that I love to do. Yep.
They're just throwing a bunch of people
just
on objective 3.
Many bodies as possible, and you know, whatever's on objective 2 can keep fighting to the death. But I mean, even if it takes, it's going to take their opponents ages to chew through this, and then they still got to get through all of these bodies. What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 units of infantry before they can cap the point. Yeah, this is looking pretty good for the RTK lads. A fact that I am very pleased with, as you might imagine. Yeah.
No, I don't even think they're going to capture point 2, so point 3 is a non-factor, but they are still piling more units on it.
Thoric has 2,000 value himself, not to mention all the value he's getting just from all the buffs he's providing. Thoric is so busted, dude.
He's bit strong, a bit.
A bit,
just a
yeah.
tiny smidge. Because he's a support lord that also can pay for himself like a combat lord.
Especially when you pair him with Felix. Like, Felix and Thoric can beat a lot of really strong duelists.
Yeah. I think that's about it for our friends, the High Elves and Bretts here, as the point total closes in. No troops on point 2, no troops on point 3. That is la GG.
Yes, it is. Dwarves seem like a pretty strong contender for 2v2s. Those supportive lords like Thoric and Festus are just really, really strong. They get to apply those buffs not only to your army, but to your allies' army as well. It's just crazy value. Speaking of crazy value, have you met Minotaurs of Corn?
I have. That is a lot. A lot between all of them.
Yeah.
Doric, Felix did all right.
Oh, I think all the
One.
Bloodletters only got 500.
Yeah, they got a little shreked by Dwellers and Breath attacks.
Yep.
Slayers with a Rune of Doom is actually also pretty good. Now that's not new. I mean,
No.
dwarves buffing dwarves, but I just kind of thought about it. And I'm like, oh yeah, they're getting about 1,000 value apiece.
Slayers are pretty gross. Ekron Miners got 1,700 value. Casual miner value, yeah.
I wonder if they got summoned multiple times and just blasting charges people.
Oh,
in the
I'm
face.
sure. You're right. But,
Yeah.
well, one of the questing knights got shut down. But the other one actually got pretty good value.
How many times was it summoned?
Only once, looks like. Like, maybe twice. So when you resummon a unit, it actually gains a chevron, so you can tell how many times it was summoned to some extent. So if it has a ton of chevrons, it's probably been summoned a while.
That's fair.
Of course,
I still hate
yeah. I don't know, either dwarves, they're very, very popular pick in Domination. But yeah, I don't know, Imric got 3350, but I feel like that's a bit of a disappointment. That's an
Yeah, he was in the sky too long. Sometimes there were a couple periods where I caught him just sitting in the sky above the fight and not like cycle charging or doing very much at that moment. You have to be careful of the Minos for sure, but it just explains why his value wasn't that high, as you might suspect. It's just, well, if a dragon's in the air, it's not doing as much.
Alright, so that is all of our first round games. We only had 3 because one of our games did have a crash and somebody conceded. So we should move on to our semi-final games, which I don't have a replay for yet. So I'm going to hunt down.
I can get it to you.
Okay, I'm hunting down Human Boy apparently.
So I have the top one. Lazuli's versus Tank and Swerve. Lazuli's and Drew versus Tank and Swerve.
Right.
The bottom replay is not done yet.
Yep, send it my way. We'll get this going.
Yeah. For some reason, I had a derp of trying to figure out where my replay folder was. There you go.
Thank you.
It's Nurgle Dark Elves yet again versus Tomb King's Dwarves.
Tomb King's Dwarves.
Tomb King's Dwarf. That's what Swerve and Tank are taking. The Nurgle Dark Elf team is the same team that took it in the quarters.
Yep, looks like they had a pretty similar build to the first time.
Yeah, I think they're gonna win.
I think who's going to win?
Nurgle Dark Elves.
Potentially. As we thought earlier, Nurgle seems very, very strong. Though an open map like this, there's a lot more room, A, for shooting, and B, for the opponents to actually outmaneuver that disgusting Nurgle blob.
We have, yeah, I should point that out, is we only saw one map so far, and then moving to the semifinals, we'll see a different map, and the finals has 3 different maps. So out of the 5 you recommended that would be good for 2v2, they're all in here. And that is the last we'll see of that round 1 map.
Yep. No more Celestial Lake for us. It's a shame, because it's a pretty map.
It was a pretty good map, yeah. No. Alright, I'm at 10 seconds.
Alright, I'm on a loading screen with the Platy Potato. And I should change the team names, because I didn't do that, so... I'm going to pause at 10 seconds, let you talk about one of the builds, and I'm going to fix the name cards.
Okay, I'll do Tank and Swerve's build.
Alright.
The red team. The red dread. Oh god, this is actually so fucking obnoxious. I love it. Looking at it, this is kind of epic.
You can go ahead and talk whenever you're ready.
They have Thoric Ironbrow for his army-wide buffs that we've already talked about ad nauseum, but they also have DJ Kotep for his army.
Oh, the Lich Staff.
Yeah, so he's going to spam out spells and reset all your cooldowns, while Thoric, if you ever do get a spell off, Thoric's going to make you take overcast damage, and he buffs his whole army with melee attack. Kotep gives his whole army healing. Now, that healing won't affect the dwarves, to be fair, but still, it's overall pretty dang good. So, yeah, and we have a DJ booth plus an Anvil of Doom. So both lords are kind of semi-mounted. Other than that, we have a decent artillery presence from the Goblobbers, Grudge Thrower ROR, then an ROR cannon, Some minus blasting charges, Iron Breakers, Skeleton Tide, Kepler Guard, Tomb Guard, Dwarf Force, great weapons. It's just a mass amount of differing melee units. We do have the Chosen Gods, Ushapti Great Bows, plus 2 regular Ushapti Great Bows.
Yep. Thoric is being
Lots of
booed in
pew-pew.
chat, which I approve of. Boo Thoric, indeed. Alright, so then for Nurgle Dark Elves. Looks like we skipped on the Barons of the Bog this time, as you probably expect a little more shooting from Dwarfs TK, which I think is a pretty solid choice. Still the Cultist, this time just backed up by a bunch of Chaos Warriors, Marauders, Chaos Warriors, and Festering Stooges. For Dark Elves, it looks like we have the exact same build, just Black Corsairs, backed by Witch Elves, backed by Dark Shards, with Malekith in the air. Pretty simple, it's pretty straightforward, just trying to get in there and fight.
I have a kitty cat.
I am incredibly jealous. My kitty cat doesn't come and cuddle with me of his own volition.
Oh.
Yeah. I have to go and shower him with non-consensual love and affection.
Damn it.
Anyway.
I'm sorry.
Ready to go?
Hell yeah, dude.
3, 2, 1, going. We got some Iron Breakers out front for the Dwarves. Need to be a little careful of those Dark Shards. But they can absolutely just tank
when loading up the replay, I did see in the reinforcement tab that we have some Iron Drakes, the fire version. So I would be happy to see those pop in here and give Nurgle a bit of roasty toasty.
I don't actually mind that, because, you know, against the pretty slow forces of Nurgle and all the healing, they can do some really nice damage, especially with... I found missile units can be a lot harder to actually get on top of in 2v2s when there's so many bodies on the field.
Yeah, especially because Dark Elves can't usually just throw bodies at bodies and hope to win.
You have some skeleton
units aren't grinders.
Skeleton chariots come in, which I suspect won't do a whole lot to the armored Nurgle Chaos Warriors. But against the lightly armored Dark Elf infantry, they can do some really, really nice work. As we saw earlier, the Bretonian Cav just run through them because they have no mass whatsoever. They're just so easy to run over.
I'm very sus of chariots in general. When I see a chariot, I think it's bad.
I am nicknamed RTK Surthak. I love me some chariots. They're not good, but I love them. Do those
they
first
used to be good.
Yeah. Well, nobody likes them when they're good, even me.
Yeah.
The first volleys are coming in, shooting at that cultist, shooting in the infantry. Cannons are ripping shots. DJ Kotep, and yeah, Nurgle is just advancing under fire. Festus needs to make sure he's sticking with his front line to get that healing going. We do have the Barons of the Bog coming in as reinforcements, which isn't a bad start.
Those Iron Drakes are waddling their way up to the front.
Alright, here's the Chariot Charge. Chariot Charge into Chaos Warrior Grey opens. They didn't do anything because they're not AP.
They took more damage than they dealt.
Yep. And those are 2 units of equivalent cost. I mean, they aren't AP, so against... Nope, these are also Armored Warriors.
Yeah.
Nope. And they got friendly fired by the Goblobber.
Yep.
Yep.
They're trying to get out of here now.
But they blobbed up. The Chaos Warriors get some nice shots off from the Goblobber. Dark Elves are emerging from the trees. Yeah. Dark Elves do have a bit of a nice flank here. They've overloaded the right side of their opponent's formations. They should be able to push through these Skeleton Warriors very, very quickly. The Corsairs and the Witch Elves will tear them apart, while the Dark Shards can just destroy the Dwarven infantry very, very quickly. But Nurgle is taking a beating. Where's Festus? Festus needs to get up to the front and actually start healing up. Just kind of hiding his infantry to avoid getting shot. But those Boshopti are focusing him hard, which is probably the right decision. You make sure he can't just be in the front lines providing his buffs. We do have Ring of Fiery, whatever that ability's called. Thoric spell coming in, chunking the front line. These chariots are a zoom-in, getting on those Marauders and finally dealing damage. Cultist almost dead. Yeah, he'll regen. He'll be fine. He'll be back soon.
Kicked his ass.
Oh, the Ironbreaker volley getting wasted on the Cultist feels so bad. It actually did a lot of damage to him.
Yeah, shocking amount of damage. Yeah. Oh, point 3 is over here. Point 3 exists. We have some Nurglings and some Skeleton Warriors walking towards it. Oh, there's a Tomb Guard. Yeah, Tomb Guard will win when they get there.
When they get there. Unless a miner shows up. Yeah. Alright, looks like Dark Elves are starting in the fight. They're starting to overwhelm that right flank. We have some Scourge Runners coming in. I'd love to see the Scourge Runners start shooting into those Boshopti. They've done a great time getting shot by them. Nice Soul Stealer. That's a money Soul Stealer.
What? How did you hit the Ironbreakers?
Get wrecked, that's how.
That made no sense.
Get wrecked. Malekith is balanced, you're just ain't mad.
Mad cause bad.
Yeah, mad cause bad. We do have the Crows of Cain sneaking on the right side to try and get after the artillery piece. There are some Nehekar horsemen as well as some Longbeards here to try and protect them, but the Crows of Cain are surprisingly durable. They could do some real work against those artillery pieces if we're not careful. Dark Shards are just firing in, but they're kind of just shooting into Skeleton Spears. You'd really love to see these Dark Shards start shooting into the Kepler Guard or these Boshopti. And there's the Iron Drakes you mentioned. Give me that roasty toasty, boyos. Roast me some elves. Give it to me.
They gotta get. There they are.
There they are. Yeah.
I was looking over at point 3 and some stuff.
Nurgle is just getting pounded, which is kind of their job, but they're just taking massive losses from all of this shooting. Their lines have kind of broken. There's the volley. Ooh, and
yeah, there we go.
Oh, that's some good damage, especially as they are getting fleshy abundance and healed by Festus at the same time. Just cutting that healing in half and doing loads of damage as well as routing them off. It's looking just the devastating fire coming from the Tomb Kings and the Dwarves combined. That's just a massive artillery core. There's tons and tons of damage, and Festus cannot heal at all. He's trying his darndest.
Swarv and Tank are at 10k damage value. Lazulis and Drew are at 3.
Yep, this is looking pretty rough for our Nurgly boys.
Yeah. Oof. I mean, this is Nurgle gameplay. They're used to taking a lot of damage on the advance, but it's kind of like we talk about with Scapin, where it's like you're not used to taking this much damage.
Yeah, and now we do have that Nurgle blob getting in. Actually doing some pretty good work in melee, especially combined with the Witch Elves. Just so many debuffs. Keplerguard are just down to no melee attack, or no weapon damage, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. They're just getting pounded by this artillery corps. It's completely uncontested. Like, what do you do about this artillery corps? The Boshopti firing in for free. The thing is, even if you catch the Boshop, like run at the Boshopti with infantry, they're fast. They'll just run away. You got something fast. You don't have a lot of options for that with Nurgle and Dark Elves. So you got like Cold One Knights. They're just going to get shot on the approach. And look at those Iron Drakes just toasting Malekith. Oh, I know you love to see this.
Yeah, this is some pretty pog gameplay right now. Take that Malekith, you bastard. But I am shocked the Dark Elves have literally no Dark Riders. Dark Riders are one of the most cost-effective things in the roster, maybe in the game. Doesn't mean they're the best unit in the game, but they're very cost-effective, and I'm surprised not to see them.
Iron Drakes just took down Malekith.
Yep, he roasty toasty to death.
Also, look at this. This Iron Drake is flanking, by the way. It's just the most forward unit for the Dwarves, and it's just burning Festus apart. Okay, the Dark Shards are now punishing it, but it's still a really tanky unit. Not a lot of models, a lot of armor. It can still be pretty tough to take down. But, oh, Festus is getting pounded. Oh, yeah, the humanity.
This fight in the middle ground for no objective. There's just a bunch of people fighting in front of the spawn.
Yep, as is customary. Festus is running for the hills. Festus are routing. Got some Cold One Knights coming in. Gonna try hopefully down those Boshopti, but those Boshopti have spent all their ammo. They might as well be desummoned. They're not worth anything anymore.
Iron Drakes are dead. They got rampaged by Witch Elves.
No, our toasty boys.
Yeah.
They still got 1100 value.
No, they did great.
How much they even cost? How much they even cost? I don't even remember.
700.
Okay, I haven't seen that unit in ages. I forgot what it costs. On the far side, those Tomb Guard have secured objective number 3, so that is a 3-cap coming in for the red team. This is looking to be a pretty decisive win for Swarv and Tank.
I mean, we still are at 7,000 value for Lazulis and Drew, and 18,000 for Tank and Swarv. It's a lot of damage.
Yeah. Healing from Festus mitigates that a little bit, but not that much. Like, if we zoom out, there's just not a whole lot of units for the green-blue team. Just a sea of red. Yeah.
Sorry, doing some adminning while you solo cast like a G.
Ah, okay. Yeah, just Tomb Guard coming in to shore up the holes. They'll do pretty fine in these Witch Elves. Keplerguard is just chatting on the point. Thorak is actually taking a beating from the cultist that has come back for round 2. He healed up entirely and said, alright, Thorak, I need my vengeance. But, well, Dwarfs do vengeance better than most, so he's just not getting what he's looking for, unfortunately. He's getting pounded in the Warriors of Dragonfire Pass, as well as some spears and Thorak. Thunderers are just firing in, tearing apart Plague Bears in open field, Quarrelers as well. And this Dwarven Tomb King shooting is just so hard to shut down.
Exalted Plague Bears are trying to get a little bit of support in here, and Thorak's taking a good amount of damage. Doesn't have Felix or anybody to heal him up, but...
Oh, I just watched the Plague Bears fire an entire volley right over Thorak's head. It feels so bad, man.
And they're disintegrating now.
Looks like...
I don't see what the Dwarves and Nurgle can do, man. They're so far behind.
Kontop has run out of ammo, is now slowly advancing on his disc.
It might be honestly worth it to desummon him and
bring
back
probably
ammo, but...
probably doesn't have WOM. He probably just wants to spend his WOM and desummon him permanently.
Yeah, I guess. So that's tank. Yeah, tank has
Mm-hmm.
1K funds at the moment, so it's not like he's rolling in dough.
Festus has rallied in the backfield, but he's still being targeted by those cannons at extreme range, just being hounded off the battlefield.
The Goblob only has 1 volley left, and the cannon has 8. They've been firing this whole game.
Yep. I didn't actually keep track of what happened with those Crows of Cain that went after them, but doesn't look like they did a whole lot.
Nah, the Crows of Cain are now over at point 3 getting in a fight. Looks like they're trying to opt out.
Yeah. Cold One Knights are getting hammered by, I don't know what killed them. Looks like it probably wasn't those skeleton chariots, I'm going to assume, but yeah, this looks pretty over for Nurgle and Dark Elves, I'd say. Festus is routing, the Dark Elf forces are in tatters, a couple of Nurgle units hang on, but all 3 objectives are completely uncontested at the moment, solidly in control of the red team. This is looking pretty donezo.
Malekith's freshly summoned, but I mean he can't carry this. Let's not be insane here.
I don't know, I've seen Malekith carry some big ones.
This would be new.
this is a tall order even for Malekith, even for our boy.
He's big, but he's not that big.
Yeah, and with just him alone, there's nothing to shut down the shooting, so he's just going to land and get crossfired by all these Quarrelers, Thunderers, Cannons. Like, there's nothing to protect him from the enemy shooting.
Yeah. The Crows of Cain did finally get onto the cannon, and they're uncontested, so they will be able to kill unless some miners turn around and throw their blasting charges at him.
There's some carrying coming in.
That cannon's done what it needed to do.
Mm-hmm.
The carrion aren't going to DPS enough. They'll just heal the Crows of Cain over time.
Alright, how about some Iron Drakes and Warriors of Dragonfire Pass? Is that enough for you, human boy? Huh?
Yeah,
Will that deal with the Heartbeast for you?
Yeah, that might do it.
Okay.
Might possibly do it. Chosen the Gods are back with full ammunition. 2,500 value on them already.
Soul Steel coming down, trying to get some of this infantry down, trying to heal up Malekith, but this, yeah, Malekith really needs some support. Maybe the Festering Stooges coming back in. Maybe we'll be able to shoot some of these chariots. A lot of chariots. The tank team is very fond of these skeleton chariots, which I respect. They're a cool unit. Love me some chariots.
It's quite based.
Yeah.
There is the concession.
Yep, Nurgle and Dark Elves do tap out, which I think is worth it.
Oh boy. Do you see Chat and Platty? Do not opt into a melee fight with Nurgle and Dark Elves. Just shoot them. Shoot them in the face.
Well, that's the first time today we've actually seen a shooting build go pretty well. I guess we saw Wood Elves earlier today, but that was a really, really decisive win with a shooting build when most of the games we've had have been dominated by the melee grind.
Yeah, I mean, the melee grind is strong. It's just, like, specifically against Nurgle, as we've talked about. It's like he has a ton of healing, a ton of debuffs, and stuff like that. You just can't... You can't and shouldn't opt into the melee fight, because if Nurgle lost the melee fight, then that faction would honestly just be so sad, because it's like, okay... They don't have archers. They don't have really effective monsters. They don't have very effective cav. So what do they have besides the melee fight? It's like their only strength. So opting into it with them, like Nurgle should win it.
Yeah, the only faction that can really beat them in the melee fight is Counts, and they're usually permanent in these 2v2s.
Yeah.
These Counts are just crazy good.
Counts are mildly upsetting. I'm hoping for a patch this upcoming week. Some people have tried to lift my spirits by saying next week is, well, I don't know. Depends on if you count Sunday as the start of the week. But this week is the CA whole 1 year of Warhammer 3 event thing. So maybe there'll be a patch. Maybe?
That'd be great. I'm not optimistic. Yeah, a patch would be great. Nerf the shit out of Counts, please.
Yeah. I looked at their values. I didn't see anything that really caught my eye too much.
Nope. Iron Drake's got 1100, but you saw that in the game, so.
Yeah, the flanking Iron Drakes, that shit was great.
I would like to shout out both Hanadins and his teammate, as well as Drakons and his teammates. They both sent me replays, which I appreciate. Unprompted. Thank you. I appreciate that.
I have Skaven Dark Elves versus Empire Chaos. Is that what you have?
Yep.
All right, I'm
good to go. Let's go.
I told that part where I got distracted mid-game, I was doing some adminning. I just told both finalists so they don't need to wait for us and they can start.
Yep. We'll let them get ahead so we have replays to cast, because casting the lobby with 6 people is just going to be laggy. So laggy.
Yeah, this has been pretty good. Like, live stuff is obviously better in a perfect world, but
But we're not in a perfect world. We don't have dedicated servers, so we do what we
No,
can.
'cause even solo casting, like Warhammer 2 2v2s that Qden hosted. I'm getting to 10 seconds of pausing. Even the 2v2 like land battles, Warhammer 2, whatever you want to say, like best case scenario, I'd say about half of our game were laggy. And like the ones it's a high highs and low lows situation. Like the laggy ones were fucking miserable to cast, but being live with a non-laggy game was really, really hype.
Mm-hmm.
So I think like I get that, but it has been much smoother as a caster just doing these with replays, and it's like avoiding the occasional shit show.
Yeah, I like 'cause there's a lot less downtime for stream. We don't have to sit around people making builds, doing picks. But we will probably catch up with our finalists to build, but have to wait around a bit. All right, pause 10 seconds. I assume you're going to cover the Skaven since you are the resident expert. All right, you did that. I'm going to fix the name cards.
Okay. Skaven, our first time seeing them in domination mode. I did have a funny story that Platypus already dispelled because that was pre-nerf. But Turin and every domination pro keeps telling me, bro, you should get into domination right now. Skaven are great. And every stream I watched was the Skaven getting their shit kicked in. So I'm ready. I'm here. I'm going to watch the OP Skaven dominate a game and definitely not just get their shit kicked in yet again. And Platypus is like, but they got nerfed since people... No, you said they're good. That means they're always perfect. And every time they lose, you're wrong.
Skaven have always been good in 2v2s.
They're gonna get their shit kicked in. I'm gonna be so sad. All right.
Well, it's not looking good because you know the tech that made Skaven really good in domination, the power grab shenanigans. Yeah. So for you at home that don't know, Skaven Chieftain has an ability called Power Grab. When the Lord's not on the field, it gives +8 leadership to the entire army. That applies to your ally. So what they would do is just take a Skaven Slave of the Lord, desummon it, and then have +8 leadership for your entire army and your entire ally's army through the whole game. Handedness has not stooped to such lows, apparently.
So we do have a Gracier of Plague. Just both summons are the only spells. Now in Dom, that might be a bit of a problem. Summons don't have capture weight, but also like you could use more of your Winds of Magic because the summons are going to run out of uses. And then you might have Winds of Magic left over.
The thing I like about that is actually the lore passive to just lower the vigor of your entire enemy's army. There's so many units on the field that actually gets a lot of value.
Yeah, the lore passive's great. I would prefer like Pestilent Breath or even I've been using the 4 Winds of Magic, Blessed with Filth. That just gives poison.
Just to spam the vigor nerf. It's really nice.
Yeah, it's pretty good. On that, Rat Ogres, Eshin Triads, Rat Ogres, more Rat Ogres, and then some Globes and the Avalanche Mortars. That's all the Skaven are bringing to the party. The Dark Elves bringing all the infantry. So they have Dark Riders, Bleak Swords, Sister Singing Doom Witch Elves, more Witch Elves, Malekith up on his dragon, Crows of Cain. Actually, very little infantry in the starting army from the Blues Brothers.
There's also a Rogue Harpy off to the side. I don't know if you spotted it.
Oh, hello over there.
You actually have very, very long Vanguard columns in the forest on either side of this map, so you can get some cheeky deployments.
Fair enough.
So, Walk Empire. So now we have Boris Be'lakor, the Flying Dew, instead of Franz Be'lakor. Which is kind of nice. That means you have to heal him a little less. You can heal other things. It looks like we have brought a Jade Wizard just with Dwellers and Earthblood. Dwellers gets a lot of value in these blobby fights with this many units on the field. Got Sunmaker as well as a regular Hellstorm. Just puts down the damage long range and try to focus down those Skaven weapon teams where they get in range. Spearman line. Just a lot of state troops. And then we have some Marauders and Chaos Warriors hiding in the trees trying to avoid that Skaven artillery line. Just kind of sacrificing these Empire state troops as well as some aspiring champions that are... I kind of like these. They're not that vulnerable to Skaven shooting because they have low model count. So they can just waltz right up the globes, smack them in the face, and be okay with it. So I kind of like the aspiring champion pick. And that, yeah, the state troops was kind of a sacrificial offering to the Skaven shooting, saying, here, shoot these cheap units, and we'll just hide our expensive units until we dealt with the shooting. Alright. Ready to go?
Hell yeah.
3, 2, 1, go.
I've really liked, in 2v2s, as far back as Warhammer 2 even, Empire or Brettonia plus Chaos were both really popular combos because the Empire/Brettonians could bring healing and cavalry that Chaos really can't bring. Like, Chaos has some heavy cav, but Chaos Knights are too expensive, and Skirmish cav isn't that amazing in melee. So they've always missed that middle tier of armored, but cost-effective cav. And then Chaos brings to the party Chaos Warriors and Forsaken, just a frontline that will win, and the Empire/Brettonia is not used to their frontline winning. So this has been a historically synergistic combo, and it's good to see it hasn't died off.
One thing I'm a little worried about is the fact that Dark Elves and Skaven both have one unit type they really, really struggle with, and that's monstrous infantry. Neither one of them have great answers to it in melee, so if there are armored trolls in the reserves for these Warriors of Chaos, that could be a huge problem for the Skaven and Dark Elves.
And we do have one summoned already, running through the trees next to the Hellstorm rocket batteries.
I would like to go on record and say I didn't see them in the build. I'm just that good.
You are that good.
Anyway,
I believe you.
Sunmaker is firing in on the Bleak Swords. They should be tearing them apart, but they aren't for some reason, because Imperial accuracy is top tier. I blame the Imperial education system. Anyway, Plague Cloud Catapults are firing in on the Aspiring Champions, but like I said, they're very resilient against those explosive missile fires. This is kind of a bit of wasted ammo for Team ODM here. See, that's just so little damage compared... Well, okay, that's pretty good damage, but for the Avalanche Mortar, they're used to one-shotting units. That's kind of underwhelming.
Plague Cloud Catapult summoned into and more globes. It looks like we have 2 shooting style builds for once. That's kind of funny. Well, not totally shooting style from Chaos and Empire, but more shooting than we've seen from both sides all day.
And I like this from my RTK boys, just using these low model count units to cap the point, force their opponent to come into them, just weather the shooting. And honestly, like you were saying, the Empire has that good mobility core. I'd kind of like to see them playing the far side objective. The Skaven artillery doesn't have much presence over on objective 1, just send them Empire Cav and start running down these Bleak Swords. Oh, so those aren't even Bleak Swords, those are Skaven slaves. Those are free. Go kill them. Just run them down with an Imperial Cav. There's the Empire Knight. Just go kill that Skaven slave, take that objective, and force the Skaven out of those trees. This little pocket of Skaven shooting is just so nasty to deal with. So you kind of just want to cap the points and back off and force them to come to you.
In chat, someone's asking, are Chaos Spawn better than Trolls? They used to be, not anymore. Now it's like both do different things. Chaos Spawn are better at holding an area or kind of pushing through a front line, and Trolls are incredible at actually doing DPS. Though they do have some leadership issues. They recently got leadership buffs, so they've been doing a bit better. So I guess it'd be Trolls are better on offense, Spawn are better on defense.
Yeah. These days in Domination, you very rarely see Spawn for Warriors of Chaos. You sometimes see it for Tzeentch or Slaanesh, but mostly if you have Trolls, you take Trolls. They're just cheaper, and they're very, very good at their job.
Yeah, and regen.
Yep. Now, the problem for Empire Walk here is that Skaven and the Dark Elves are holding 2 objectives, which means they have to come forward and force them off of one of these objectives. Otherwise, they're just going to sit in this passive shootout, and Skaven will win that over time. The Sunmaker has gotten a lot of value, but it's going to run out of ammo soon. So after that happens, the Plague Claw and the Avalanche Mortars will start value trading very, very effectively. So the Empire needs to do something to force their opponents into them. They need to cap Objective 1, or they need to start taking the fight on those globe weapon teams. And most likely the choice is just move up through these trees on the left with this big flank of Chaos Warriors. But I'm really worried about those guys. There are globes here waiting for them. And globes do not care about the quality of your infantry. They will kill them. Just
I wonder
straight
if
up.
Bellicor is holding back to dive in on those globes when he wants to actually push the advance and just distract them for a bit. Because it's really hard. Even if you're constantly clicking, it can be hard for any missile unit to ignore being in melee.
Yeah, that would be a beautiful synergy right there. But also, Dark Elves falling prey to the Skaven friendly fire, which is a glory to see.
Yeah, take that, Dark Elves.
Yeah.
Now, RTK... I love how Draken says 79 damage value.
Yep. He's not doing anything. He's just kind of hanging out waiting for the fight to start. Now Bellicor's getting in there. Malekith's countercharged with Soul Stealer. Trolls coming into support. But Malekith probably doesn't want this fight, to be honest. Bellicor may have his dueling abilities. Yeah, and he's got that Master of Shadows for minus 40 melee attack for Malekith, so he can actually win that duel pretty heavily, especially with the Troll support. So yeah, Malekith doesn't really want that smoke. I'm not sure why he's so eager in taking, especially with Boris here to support.
I'm kind of surprised Bellicor opted out of that, to be honest.
Yeah, could have just turned and smacked him around. I guess it's probably just not worth his time. He has better things to do. You know, when you don't have to kill Malekith or Bellicor, it's just, well, which one can get value faster most of the time? Killing each other isn't super relevant because it's going to take so long.
Red is playing awfully cagey, though. That Chaos Warrior flank that took forever to set up just abandoned their post, and now they're back to their own lines.
Yeah, well, Bellicor was busy elsewhere, so they didn't have anything to actually disrupt those globes, so I kind of like pulling back. You weren't going to get away with that. Pit of Shades in the backfield does catch out a globe, which is a beautiful catch, and Boris gets on the Avalanche Mortar, so there's nothing here to peel for it. It's a beautiful catch. Some Dark Rider Peters coming in, but they're not going to stop Boris from doing what he wants. They're just going to punish him for it.
The double debuffs, he should be able to get rid of them soon. Oh, wow, he didn't bring in...
Oh, that Empire Knight charge took half health off a Witch Elf in the center. That was beautiful, but now they're rampaged, and they're fucking dead. Yep. Triads pouring in.
That is a dead unit.
And that was really clever. They used the dupe for the Ixchis Triads, held the Empire Spearmen in place, and bombed them with globes. just sacrificing the duplicate. That was really, really clever from Hanniden's and Isabel.
Yeah, and the clone's unbreakable, so it's just running forward as an annoying
Yeah, that
ulti.
was
Now it's dead.
beautiful. Bellacore is taking a lot of damage though. He's surrounded by Witch Elves and Rat Ogres. Malekith could actually get the punish on him here pretty quickly. I did hear the bell going off. Do we have some... Oh, I don't see his red 13th.
There's some unfortunate mistargeting. The Hellstorm rocket battery is firing at Malekith right now.
Yeah, that's really not what you want to see. An explosive weapon like that really wants to hitting blobs of infantry, not single entities, so... You'd really love to see it switch to target some of these clan rats, or the Dark Smards, or the Globadiers.
Now, the Skaven are getting their asses handed to them on point 3. They're losing some globes, they're losing Skaven slaves, gutter runners are taking a lot of damage, so there's a big problem here, and with Be'lakor and Boris in the area and the Gracier opting into a losing fight, he could get himself in danger and get sniped out, and the Skaven losing their leadership, losing their caster would be really brutal.
Ooh, that's a pretty nice Dread 13th. Chunks out both those Chaos Warriors as well, starts the fight there and pins them in place. But yeah, Objective 3 is going pretty heavily in the favor of the Warriors of Chaos and Empire, and these Corsairs are not long for this world. Be'lakor is just so good at breaking the backs of these infantry formations. The summon spams are coming out and are starting to wear down the vigor of the Warriors of Chaos, but I worry it's just going to be too little too late. Plagueclaws are just sitting back there providing supporting fire, but they're hurting as many of their own units as they are enemy units, and they do discourage their own Corsairs to the point where they tear out from Boris. And now Be'lakor just rotates over the middle, and this is one thing that is going to be really problematic for the Dark Elves and Skaven to deal with, is that they don't have that great of a mobility core, so the rotation power is just solely in the hands of Empire and Walk. And the ability to rotate Be'lakor and Boris between these points is just so powerful. Being able to have that massive single entity just come over and swing a fight and then skedaddle off to another objective, do the same thing. The pace of it is going to be hard for the ODM team to keep up with.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised that they didn't take the opportunity to fight that Gracier. They just opted out of it and went to do other things. Malekith Breath Attack literally only hit Rat Ogres and killed them, so good job.
He's getting revenge for the previous friendly fire, as is customary. Soul Sealer on Boris. Boris should be just fine. He'll heal up. Empire Knight's coming in, and I feel like... Oh, Reiksguard! Reiksguard!
Yeah, they've been coming back into popularity for some reason. I'm not feeling it, but they're around.
Do get a Dread 13th Stormvermin and Halberd summon right underneath them, so they should be able to pin them in, along with some... I don't know, those are trolls, not Rat Ogres, so let's take whatever fight they can get. Objective 1 is entirely empty, by the way. Nobody is on it at the moment.
I saw that. I'm kind of sus that RTK Drakons and Hitman Hippo haven't come over here with like just a basic cav unit and
there was some skirmishing over there earlier. The problem is this Scourge Runner core was hanging off to this side for a while, but now they're out of ammo. That is free real estate.
Yeah.
But
just get over there with something.
Yeah.
Elves Riders or something.
It's like, how did these Witch Elves get all the way into the blue team's spawn?
Ooh, I have no idea. Hello back here.
I mean, they got on these silver bullets. They're going to be able to take out a lot of HP. They're not going to live very long, but they can do a lot of work before they die off.
Oh, yeah, Witch Elves only 26 melee defense. I was going to say, the Marauders aren't the best units. Maybe they'll last a while, but their melee defense is too low. They'll get killed pretty easily. Speaking
of units deep in the backfield, Trolls. Trolls in this game backfield just getting routed off. It looks like, for the time being, Empire Walk do have a pretty solid control of the points, but there is a second wind of Dark Elf infantry coming in that could try pushing them back, but all these Trolls are really hard to deal with. Like I said, Dark Elves they're actually a very poor mass, so they just get run over by anything big, and their spears are just terrible at killing monstrous infantry. So they're really difficult to deal with. Even Cold One Eyes have a very hard time killing those monstrous infantry units.
Skaven Gracier might be breathing his last. He's surrounded by Trolls. Boris is standing nearby, but now he's remembered and he dives in.
Yeah,
he's able to one-shot his own troops.
Yeah, that Gracier's in a lot of trouble. Malekith is going to come over and try to bail him out, but it could be pretty risky, but with Be'lakor nearby as well some Outriders to try and punish, but... I don't know, Skaven Seal feel like they have a lot of forces on the field, but they're just being pushed back, and the Globes, the Avalanche Wars took out a Bleak Sword all on their own! Yeah. There's so much friendly fire in this one Empire Knight. That Empire Knight is a Chad just because he held the enemy in place and got them friendly fired. Oh, I love Skaven. I love Skaven so much.
Yeah, they're great. Avalanche Mortars killing some Outriders grenade launchers, but it is friendly firing the Natty Boobos a little bit. Now that unit's quite spread out, so it doesn't take nearly as much damage.
Massive
Gracier actually lived. Gracier got to the forest.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. They're pretty slippery and tanky, and that's kind of why you don't see a lot of single entity sniping in Dom, is because it's just so easy to slip away. And, if they get away, they can just desummon and be fine. A pretty big counteroffensive coming in the middle from the Skaven and Dark Elves reinforcement, but with Be'lakor there, it's just so hard to take space against Be'lakor when your troops are constantly routing. Even if they're ITP, which they aren't, they're Skaven. They're just so prone to routing. So we got a nice dweller below here coming and catching these gutter runners, but those avalanche mortars are just pounding in the damage. Doing so much work from downrange, so they are almost out of ammo. And once they're out of ammo, there's not a whole lot else here to actually kill off the Warriors of Chaos units here. And the Warriors of Chaos infantry line does generally outclass the Skaven and Dark Elves infantry lines, so pretty rough.
Looking around, I am slightly concerned, though. Red team's running out of gas. I see very few health bars above half. Yeah. Which could be a long-term problem depending on what comes out from the blue team. Now, on the other side, the blue team has a second wind coming in, but it's mostly Skaven slaves, mostly clan rats, so it's not like it's going to be any world beaters for sure.
Do we have different sides of the blue team? Which side is blue for you?
Skaven.
Oh, yeah, I have RTK as blue team.
I see. All right. I'll refer to them by their races.
Okay, yeah, that works. But yeah, the Skaven Dark Elves are summoning a lot of infantry, which is, like I said, it's just outclassed, and against Be'lakor, it's so hard to actually take space. They are kind of against the clocks. They are down capture points, which means they can't really be affording to summon in missile units, which they need to actually kill their opponents. So it's kind of a lose-lose situation. Like, you summon infantry to take the points, you summon missiles to actually win the fight. It's a really tough decision to make when you're against the clock like this. Got another nice dwellers coming in from Hip and Hippo. It's been really nice getting all those dark big swords as well. Oh, that's a Pit of Shades. Still nice, yeah. Seen some pretty brutal spells coming from the RTK boys. Very proud of my clanmates today.
The Hellstorm Rocket Battery is getting good value in on its second summon. Objective 1 is still uncontested. Someone sent some clan rats with shields over here just to hold for a bit in case someone got cheeky. But I mean, even that, Hellstriders or Empire Knights could easily take them out.
Yeah, and there's an Empire Knight over here in the trees. I'd love to see it just go run over those clan rats and take that objective for free and just put your opponent against the clock that much more.
Yeah.
Malekith is getting some nice tear outs on the trolls, nice soul steer coming down, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. He's trying to put the team on his back, but it's just taking too long to get value. He's still full health. He's been playing very passively because with these two other big single entities on the field, like, he'll just be outclassed if he takes the melee fight. Boris is going for that Grey Seer again, but nothing to hold in place. He should be able to just skedaddle. Oh my god.
He's slower than Boris, though.
Do you know the Gutter Runner bug?
Where you just hear nets over and over.
Yes! It drives me crazy.
Yeah, it's really annoying.
Sisters of Sing Doom are in the center objective, and that is one infantry that'll be difficult to remove. They are pretty spaced out and weathering the Sunmaker volleys. And now it's time for the Empire friendly fire right into those Hellstriders.
Yep. All that damage came in from the Sunmaker, and he's half HP.
Yeah, Sisters of Sing Doom are going to be a nuisance on the center objective, just rampaging and terror routing everything, as well as just grinding down with excellent melee stats when they aren't being debuffed by Be'lakor. Just loads and loads of damage.
The Skaven are trying to reinforce the middle point, though I will say there's just more... There's more Imperial and Chaos bodies here, so I think they're going to have difficulties capturing.
There are finally some more globes coming up, which I think is what you need as Skaven. Just start throwing globes in this fight. But, I don't know. Honestly...
Dwellers.
Yeah.
That's going to do equal damage to both sides. I don't even know who that favors.
Dwellers? Dwellers isn't friendly fire.
Oh, it doesn't cause any?
That's what the impression I was under. I didn't think Dwellers friendly fired at all. That was like the beauty of that spell.
You're right.
Yeah, so that's really, really rough. And now, yeah, that Empire Knight going on to Objective 1 is big, because it didn't kill the Clan Rat, but it did do damage, and it forces a Witch Elf over here. Now the Empire Knight can just rotate back to the center, and that Witch Elf is stuck over there. If the Witch Elf ever leaves, the Empire Knight can just come right back and keep charging that Clan Rat and take it. And that's a huge value win, without actually even committing a whole lot to that side objective.
True, unless it gets a rampage. He did stop just in front of them. Some of his models are stuck with the Witch Elves too, but the Witch Elves don't actually have attack order, so he's going to be alright.
And we got the Sterling's Revenge coming to provide some fire support on those Witch Elves. They will get charged by the Crows of Cain, but they should be just fine. They do have competent melee stats, as well as some support from some Marauders coming in. And yeah, this is looking pretty rough for the Skaven. They don't have a whole lot of bodies left in the field, nor do they have weapon teams on lines. The Avalanche Mortars have come back, but they're full ammo and getting hit by Reiksguard. They're going to die off with full ammo, and that's a massive loss for the Skaven. That could be the final nail in the coffin for Team ODM.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
the Greyseer is dead. 40, 20, 7.
Get him, boys. Down goes the Rat Lord. And honestly, now, there's a massive contingent of clan rats coming in. I'd love for Be'lakor to just go land in the middle and watch them all terror out. The Lord dead, as well as Bellacor's own buffs. If he just goes and rear charges them, they're gone. They're just straight gone. And Hanadin's and his teammate knows that. Still can't pronounce his name. Azabel, that's it. And my RTK boys are taking it to the finals.
Yup. Swarven Tank versus Hitman Hippo and Drakens.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the Dark Elves' initial army. Malekith got pretty crazy value. The rest was pretty middling. Scourgerunners pulled them at
35 is crazy value for Malekith?
I mean, like, it's still more than his usual. Dom, I guess
Is
in
it?
Dom he can get more. I meant, like, he costs 2,600, so he's paying for himself with gusto.
600. 600. 2,600? What are you taking on these cheap-ass Malekith? What do you land battle people take on Malekith?
Soul Stealer, Gaze, Dragon. That's it.
Oh, Soulseer, Gaze Dragon, and Circle of Iron usually.
Circlet of Iron. Which one is that?
Wom recharge.
Does it actually work? I thought it was bugged.
To my knowledge, it does. I'm not aware of a bug. Malekith got more value than Be'lakor. Yeah?
I thought it just didn't regen
No.
faster. You
Not
do
to
the
my knowledge.
values. I'm going to go investigate.
Hellstriders go Burr.
Hellstriders do go Burr.
Mm-hmm. Yep, Trolls did alright. Let's see those Skaven weapon teams. Avalanche Mortars got summoned twice, so their first summon they got a lot of value. The second one they got shut down pretty hard. And the Rat Ogres, they did alright for their price, but they're mostly a role player, like they're just there to protect their missile units. So they don't really need to go a lot of value. Unfortunately, there weren't a lot of missile units actually on the field to protect. A couple of globes, which didn't even get a whole lot of value, just got hit with Pits of Shades. That's the Dark Elves. Scourge Runners are an interesting one in 2v2s. They're quite a menace in a normal 1v1 in Dom or in land battles. But in a 2v2, because they have so little ammo, I find they rarely actually impact the game. They usually they'll get their value back pretty reliably, but in a 2v2 there's just so many bodies on the field and so many reinforcements, they need to get value a lot faster. So with so little ammo, they just have a hard time actually putting a dent in their opponent's forces.
All right, I got 10 Winds of Magic in a minute with the Circlet of Iron. I'll try it out. But yeah, Scourge Runners, we had a Ultra Funds tournament recently, and Scourge Runners were actually struggling to really get a good impact out because they just, like, the percentage of your army that they could kill with their ammunition went way down. All right, on a normal Funds, it's like, okay, maybe they can kill, let's say, I'm just making this up, 15% of your force with their ammunition.
Mm-hmm.
Then on Ultra, it's like, well, that's like 7%.
Yeah,
So it's not big.
Yeah, so Scourge Runners are one of those units that don't transition that well, in my opinion, between 1v1s and 2v2s.
It's true.
Alright, so the finals should be underway. I don't currently have any replays, so we might have a bit of an intermission here.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, Circle of Iron works. Malekith actually did get more Winds of Magic.
Yeah. I suspect in a land battle it's not as valuable because, well, Malekith's going to be alive the whole battle, so he's going to get all soul steals anyway. But for domination, you really got to... The engagement's going to be fairly decisive fairly early, so you want to make sure you can front load that WOM.
Yeah, so I just take Seraphon, Gaze of Malice, and Soul Stealer, and he's 2,600.
Oh, yeah, I'm used to Malekith being 2,800.
It's still not that expensive considering what he provides.
Yeah.
Supreme Spell Shield is super weird.
Yeah.
It's like
I've seen
himself spell resist, enemy power recharge debuff, but then there's like an affected units tab that doesn't make any sense. Like I made a whole video about that one, but it doesn't.
Yeah. I've seen people try to use it against counts to just try and make so they can't, just spam Invocation or whatever, because they're always gonna be fighting, a Blood Dragon or Manfred or something. To reasonable effect, but I don't know, it's a weird one. The card for it just doesn't explain it very well about how it works.
Yeah, Destroyer sucks.
Yes, it does.
Increase spell resistance minus 20%. So something would have to have spell resistance. Then you hit it with Destroyer. And the spell resistance is gone, so it can get punished by the amazing damage of Soul Stealer.
Yep.
And it's like, I mean, Soul Stealer doesn't even do that much damage, so Destroyer is just like super ace-synergistic.
Super niche, yeah. Increased cooldowns can be kind of nice, but the fact that it has an automatic, like you can't trigger it, so it's just up whenever, you can't really control it, is kind of annoying.
Whoa, wait, it just goes off on its own?
Yeah, it's a passive.
That's extra stupid, because it's a passive with a cooldown.
Yeah, it's 15-second uptime. Yeah, it's a passive with a cooldown.
You can't control it, that's so dumb.
To my knowledge, I haven't actually tested it extensively.
Oh my god, what the hell, Malekith?
Yeah, that's why you don't use those items very often.
That's terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if Circle of Iron's power recharge rate actually works, then it's okay.
Yeah.
Miscast chance minus 50%. I mean, that would be useful if Chillwind. Like, Chillwind's good, but Soul Stealer's just so powerful that if Soul Stealer gets nerfed and you might see Malekith spamming Chillwind, maybe that's worth it. I don't know. Overcast. Overcast. Oh, no. It just applies Frostbite, so you would never do that. Okay. Then I don't know why he would ever overcast anything, so that's also wasted. Jesus, come on, Malekith.
His items suck, and he's still OP as hell.
Yeah, Circle of Iron is debatably okay because 80% passive power recharge over the whole battle is powerful, but the miscast chance is entirely wasted. Damn. Healing too good. I hope they do just across the board cut healing way down. I think that would help the meta a lot.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive at the moment. There's just so much, so good healing, and a lot of, like, the undead are the biggest defender, obviously, and they can just heal cap their entire army every battle. It's pretty silly.
Remember how busted Tomb Kings were before the Realm of Souls nerf?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Legit, a strategy was just take Kotep or Cetra and spam the cheapest spells and like legitimately heal cap your entire army.
Oh yeah. It was fun.
That was so stupid.
And they took it to the next level with the bug on the patch that follows when they tried to fix that. And they ended up making the bug where you could just insta-res a full unit.
God, that
Like if you resed a single model, the unit went to full HP. That bug was so funny.
That was so dumb. I honestly, the bug was funny, but I think the funnier thing to me was the patch 2.3 quote in the undead section where they were talking about crumbling, and they're like, crumbling is supposed to be super slow and nothing ever dies, and you're all just dumb idiots. Anyway, we'll increase it from like 0 damage to 0.1% damage. I hope you're happy with this small victory. And I'm like, this is such a weird...
Yeah.
This is such a weird, like, mood of the patch notes is, we're right and you're all wrong.
Yeah, crumbling is very strong.
Yeah, to get on my soapbox for a second while we wait for the replay. The crumbling thing I don't understand is it's not even like, in my opinion, it's not even a campaign versus multiplayer thing. Like, we're not balancing around multiplayer, we're balancing around campaign. It's like, what fucking campaign player is like, God, I love crumbling taking 35 years. I love fighting vampire counts in campaign. It's like, who's this for? Who enjoys crumbling?
It feels bad when you're playing the counts player and you're like good units crumble away and then don't respawn. But I mean, they have that respawn mechanic anyway, and it's so easy to replace a lot of them, so... But it does feel bad, like, early on, if you miss micro unit, it just crumbles and it's gone. Like, if you're playing a mortal faction, it routes and you'll still have it after the battle.
Yeah.
Like, that's the argument. I don't entirely agree with it, especially since counts have so many other things that are going for them in campaign.
Dude, it is demoralizing to play campaign and, like, cheese the AI. You know, you get down to, let's say, like, 2 Demigryph Knights and an Earthblood Caster, and you just cycle charge, and, like, you fight them for 40 minutes of sweaty micro, and you kill an entire army. Sure, it's cheesy, but you fucking did it, and it's campaign, who cares? And then their army disintegrates in front of you. They're gone. But on the campaign map, they rout, and all of their units are at exactly half HP, and your whole army got fucked. And it's like, why did I get punished for winning?
Yep. Suffering from success.
It would have been better for me to concede when more of his units were actually dead.
I'm playing some multiplayer campaigns with RTK guys, and I found a funny interaction with ambush battles. So you know they added that mechanic where you go to the box, like the ambush battle, you go to the box at the end, and you can withdraw to actually run away from the ambush and kind of survive.
I swear 50% of the time the box isn't there, but all right.
Yeah, but you know the mechanic. So I played a game and I withdrew. Like my opponent had 2 armies. I killed the first one. I was like, all right, the reinforcements coming. Time to dip. So I run to the withdrawal point. And I withdraw most of my army, and then I get army lost.
Oh.
And then apparently, if you're in force march, it doesn't matter if you withdraw your units; they're still fucking dead.
Oh no.
So I got absolutely wrecked. And I lost many, many valiant clan rats.
Yeah. Oh, that's brutal.
Yeah.
There was a time where I had as the Empire, I usually have thematic armies for fun, and I had an all Cav army that got ambushed. And I'm like, whatever, I'll just run to the white box. It's a bunch of Skaven, just spamming Skaven slaves and like slingers and shit, so I can easily escape from this. And then that specific one was like, there's no box, you can't escape. And I'm like, dude, fuck you. So,
Time for Hubby to micro 19 cav units.
yeah, I tried, but eventually they got withered down because it was like 4 Skaven armies ambushing me.
Yeah.
But it was just really funny. It's like, this is one of the maps where we just don't give you a white box. Sucks to be your whole mobile army.
Get wrecked.
Yeah, campaign's pretty fun. I don't actually know what they're gonna do with the campaigns. Like, I don't know. I don't think they're gonna change too much about Immortal Empires. Like, what makes it not a beta?
I think there's a lot of the story, like the narrative elements they haven't added in. You load in the beginning, it has usually has like, this is your character, this is their goal, or it did in Warhammer 2, and that's not implemented yet. So a lot of the voice acting still needs recording and all that. And then just has however many kinks they decide they need to iron out before it goes live. But I mean, there's always going to be kinks.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing. Is like thinking back to Warhammer 2, Mortal Empires. I was like, this feels like Immortal Empires to me. It's just the big map. The real story came with the Vortex campaign.
Yeah.
Which it was funny. I enjoyed the Vortex campaign the first couple times I played it. And I'm like, all right, this sucks. And then Warhammer 3 comes out, and everyone bitched about the Vortex campaign. And then the Chaos campaign happens, and people are like, you know what? Maybe the Vortex campaign wasn't so fucking bad.
No, I kind of liked the Vortex campaign, to be honest. Vortex campaign was pretty fun. Although that was my introduction to Total War, was the Vortex campaign, so
Yeah, I honestly really liked Warhammer 1, the like countdown to Chaos Invasion, which is in Mortal Empires. I don't think it's in Immortal Empires, but anyway, in Mortal Empires it's there. And that was still pretty fun, but I think that's still the best, like, big bad, and I kind of hope it's more factored into Immortal Empires of, like, when the Chaos Invasion comes, you really need to, like, stop what you're doing and go fight it.
Yeah, and now you can have Walk, you can have Khorne, Tzeentch, and have all the Monogod armies coming in too. It'd be pretty cool. Yeah,
I was playing a Throg the Troll King run, and I was complaining to my chat about it because I wasn't streaming it, but I was talking in between games like this, and I wanted to play Norska and, like, sail the high seas, be a glorious pirate raid wherever I feel like. Nope, spent the whole game defending myself from other Norskins, and then when I conquered all of them, Kislev wanted to invade me. When I conquered all of them, Throt wanted to invade me. So soon I have all of the Norskin territories, all of Kislev, and we're in the hyper late game, and I did no raiding, and I'm like, I just wanted to raid some stuff. Didn't want to build an empire for once.
The best faction for doing that kind of shit is actually Bellacor's, because he's just on Albion, he can get it, and then just go fuck off into Brettonia, or the Empire, or Nagaroth. It's great.
Yeah.
But it doesn't give you that Norskin experience.
I wanted to play High Elves as Tyrion at one point.
Sorry to hear that.
And then everybody on Ulthuan died, so I had to take over all of Ulthuan. It's like, I kind of wanted to do some sailing. It's kind of the same thing with Vampire Coast.
Yeah.
Noctilus can do it really well, but the other two, three, but I didn't play Celestra. But Aranessa and Luther, my campaigns are always just defending my capital because you can't fucking leave.
It was the first Coast campaign I ever played was Aranessa in the Vortex, and she's great for that. She just starts on an island, and she can just sail wherever the hell she wants and just live the pirate life. It's great.
Oh, I played Mortal Empires.
Yeah.
Noctilus was pretty fun. Yeah, for that one, because nobody comes to the Galleons.
Yeah, nobody ever attacks it, so you can go wherever you like.
Yeah, that was a good one. Ended up with a 19 stack of Necrofexes. Or the Southern Pole, because Be'lakor has a portal down there.
Portal? I didn't know that.
Dude, I tried playing Oxyotl's campaign, and I quit after turn 15 because I was so annoyed of fighting Tzeentch.
On campaign or in battle?
Campaign. I was walking towards him across this barren wasteland, taking attrition damage, all this shit, and then like at one point he just calls me up. He's like, "I gave your middle settlement to Khorne." Like, just for God's sake! So I had to turn around, and because Khorne, he spawns there, and he's like, "Oh, this is pretty sweet," and he's like forming an army, so I can't just ignore him, or he's gonna take my two other settlements. But yeah, Tzeentch is such a little bitch.
Tzeentch is such a troll.
it's thematically perfect for Zinch. I think they executed it well. That doesn't mean I have a fun time dealing with it, but it's like, yeah, this is Zinch. Like this is what Zinch feels like. You did it. I hate him.
Zinch is
All
a
right,
lot of. You got a replay?
Yeah, I got a message from Swerve.
Send it my way. Zinch is a lot of fun in multiplayer campaigns to just do exactly that bullshit to your friends. It's great.
I imagine my problem with multiplayer campaigns at the moment is I love the Kislev co-op one because I have a bunch of friends who want to play co-op stuff. We don't really like competitive with each other, especially because I play infinitely more of this game than my friend group. So we don't really want to play competitive multiplayer. So we played a lot of the Kislev co-op one until we burned out on it. Now we're just waiting for them to hopefully release another co-op experience.
Yeah, those co-op games are pretty neat. But no, I play with the RTK guys, so it's like everybody's a sweaty tournament player, which actually makes campaigns like feel really high stakes.
For sure. I think if like you're all casuals or you're all sweaties, it's definitely the best. But for me, it's like, my friend and I, if we were facing each other, I would know exactly how to use each unit and what everybody does. And he would be like, I don't know, what's a generic bad unit? I took, damn it. I'm trying to think of a shit unit on the fly and I can't do it. Whatever. Khorne Forsaken. They look cool. So I made an entire army of Khorne Forsaken. It's like, how do I tell you that that's the worst unit in the game? So it's just not a good match. But when we're co-oping, then it's fine because it's like, you guys take whatever cool units you want and give me about half the army, and I'll micro it effectively while you guys just have fun with like the cool units.
Yeah, that's one of the best parts. Is just like playing quest battles, and your friend gives you like 2 cav units. You just get to micro the shit out of them.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, got a game.
I'm at 10 seconds.
Yeah. It looks like Swerve sent this replay because it is not in English.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's a cool thing.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I don't know where you guys got your assets from on this map, but there's like this giant teeth flower just outside the play area.
Yeah, this map was made by Bob.Builder, I believe. So this is actually one of the newest maps in the mod pack. It's pretty nice. I'm quite a fan. This is Rifts at World Edge, which you can't see it yet because my potato PC is loading in. Here we go. So where's this flower you were talking about? I see.
Yeah, he's hard to miss.
Yeah, Audrey 2 is going wild. Yeah, that is some nasty Nurgle shit. Yeah.
I'm curious. I'm watching your stream. I'm curious if it moves.
It was moving. Yeah.
Yeah, that is so cool.
All right. Which army would you like? Do you want the Empire Walk combo again? Or it's the same combos our players played in both semis. So TK Dwarves versus Empire Walk.
This is a best of 3, so we'll see what they have left in the tank for game 2. But for now, it looks like they're sticking to comfort. I'll cover tank and Swerve.
Okay. I'll get my boys in RTK.
Similar build from them. We have the Goblobber and 2 cannons this time from the Dwarves. Still, they are bringing most of the artillery component. Thoric, some Longbeards and Dwarf Warriors with great weapons. We do have the Norgamling's Ironbreakers ROR, interestingly enough.
The heavy metal.
Yeah. And then for the Tomb Kings, they have DJ Kotep on his DJ booth. 3 Shaft Great Bows, one which is the Chosen of the Gods, Kepler Guard, Tomb Guard with some Skeleton Spearmen. And yeah, so it's the same global buff / debuff artillery ranged build.
And for the RTK boys, we got Hammer of the Witches, Sunmakers. They have their own artillery core, which does pretty heavily outrange the Dwarves, at least the Sunmaker does. So they could potentially get some good trades there. Cannons are just there to shoot through Shaft Great Bows, pretty nice. We have Archie this time, no Bellacore, which I kind of like. Burning Head's going to be really nice against all the Tomb King skeletons, as well as he's pretty strong duelist, so together with Boris Todburn, you may actually present a threat to Thoric and Kotep. So kind of like that. Then we've just got a wall of infantry, as well as a Shadowcaster with Pit, Marauders, Empire State Troops, Halberds, State Troops, Marauders, Chaos Warriors, and some great swords. So this map does actually provide quite a bit of cover for the non-artillery faction, which is pretty nice. All right, ready to unpause?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, go. So yeah, that plant does move a little bit. It just kind of trembles around. Just kind of
As
twitches.
plants do.
Yeah. Anyway.
I love all my twitchy plants.
Yeah. Like I was saying, this map has a lot of force. It does provide quite a bit of cover, so that artillery build may actually kind of struggle on this map. They should be able to get the open parts of the objective, but Warriors Chaos do have a pretty safe advance for all their Chaos Warriors through these trees, where they just won't be getting shot. The bow shop need to be a little careful about pushing up, as the Hammer of the Witches will absolutely hammer them. Yep.
The hammer of
Pun
Sigmar.
very much intended.
My old Empire build used to have 3 cannons and 1 net and then Volkmar, but I feel like the cannons have been missing more recently.
Brutal volley on the first shot. I'm not
2
much
for
of
1
a...
on the Marauders.
Yeah, Marauder State Troops. I'm not much of an Empire player, but I do like the Hammer of the Witches. It's pretty solid.
Oh, no, the Hailstorm shooting at Ushapti.
Yeah, it is. We got some cheeky carrion trying to get in here. Other players, do they have enough funds to actually summon in a Hellshire or something to peel this off? Because otherwise, if they can judge on the Hammer of the Witches, it's a big value swing. They see it, though. Boris is going to intercept, but he won't stop them. He'll just kind of inconvenience one of them, maybe 2. How many birds can Boris eat, do you think?
Actually, kind of
Down goes
surprised the
one.
Marauders. The Marauders are fucking off and leaving the hammer to its own devices. There's a sudden Empire Knight summon that should be able to help out.
Yeah, that's nice with artillery. Oh, jeez, the health just dropped from Ushapti Greatbow volley from the trees. They just destroyed it. A load of value. And yeah, the Sunmaker is trying to fire in on those cannons at extreme range. Trying in on them, but... Actually, wait, are they firing? What are they? Yeah, I can't actually tell. Oh, they're firing on the Nurgle Ironbreakers. Still a very, very valuable target. But I do like
that was a good volley.
Yeah, I do like this from our team, though. Just hiding most of their forces in the woods until they're ready to get that fight going. Just staying out of sight, trying to deny those artillery targets. And they're actually somehow trading up in value. They killed off that carrion pretty soon. Got some good shots in the Nurgle Ironbreakers, but those bow shopti are pretty brutal against these artillery pieces. They're honestly just decrewing and running, which I kind of like. Those shopti have to go really, really deep to actually chase them, so they can pull back, deke with the crew, sit it in the corner until they're ready to fight, and then they can go recrew once the bow shopti have fucked off to go do something else.
Carrying or making sure the Hammer of the Witches doesn't come back at all, so that's going to be a really big win for Tank and Swarv.
There's some cav coming up to encourage the bow shopti to relocate, but the cannons for the dwarves are going to be pounding it on them as well, doing some really, really nice damage. Got lots of models. Cannons have always been so good in armored cav like that. But the carrion will die for their efforts. Boris will make sure of it. And yeah, the crew for the... Oh no, the Sunmaker crew is too close. The carrion might just chase them off. If they can get the... Oh, if they can get the Sunmaker off too, that's going to be so much value for this carrion.
Yeah. It's not going to show in their unit card, but it's like real value.
Yeah, that's actually a huge value swing. Like, yeah, the value's not going to show on the counter either, but that's so huge. But looks like we are going for the patented RTK buildup, which, if you're not familiar with that tactic, they're going to sit in these trees till they summon all of their infantry, and then they're going to walk from one end of the map to the other and just roll, ideally. And they're just going to deny targets with the artillery until they're ready to go.
I can see the value in that. I am worried that the Dwarf build and Tomb King's build was extremely heavy on range in the start, and they were hoping to build up forces to defend them over time. So if you're giving them that time to build up and they're not wasting all their ammunition, it is just providing a front line for the ranged units. Like, because at the start of the game, you maybe had 8 ranged units and 4 melee units to defend them. By the time the fight starts, it's gonna be like 24 melee units to defend those same 8.
It's still it's the same concept that we had with Scourge Runners and 2v2s, where it doesn't scale up as well. The more units on the field, like, if a bow shopti can kill each bow shopti can kill 1 infantry unit before the fight breaks out, like on the approach. Well, that matters a lot less when there's 20 units than it does when there's 10. So the idea is just, get as many units as possible, just swarm them, and then because they have so much ranged units, they're not going to have as many infantry units, so you can still get around them. Now, this is a bit unproven in 2v2s, because there still are plenty of bodies in a 2v2, and the maps just aren't big enough to accommodate enough of a force to actually go around that line. But for the time being, that is the plan.
And trees are being trees, so some of these Marauders and Chaos Warriors aren't getting to hide, even though they're completely swamped in trees.
Yeah. And Tank has parked 1 Skeleton Spearman on the point of Objective 1, which is good. Puts pressure on the red team to actually come out of the trees and capture it, because otherwise they get 3 cap, then their time schedule moves up very, very rapidly. With a lot less time to just sit around and just build up. But they are getting pretty close to having full armies summoned.
Chaos Troll and Archie just trying to recap that point. It looks like they will do so.
The Sunmaker crew did survive. They have managed to hide in the trees, but the carriers are still coming for them. They can see them. The artillery crew does not have hide in forest. And if they route off, they're right next to the edge. They're just going to desummon to get as much of a refund as they can. And then they'll resummon it when they're ready to actually go and begin the engagement.
Yeah, I got about 800 gold back for that.
Yeah, exactly. They fired off a couple of volleys, already got some decent values. That's honestly pretty fine. Chariots are coming in and trying to pick a fight in the trees. The Cav are here to answer it, and Chariots in the trees are not going to do a whole lot, especially against these armored Chaos Warriors. But they do spot them out, which means the artillery can start firing in. Cheeky Pit of Shades on the Tomb Guard. Some nice value.
Yeah, that was a pretty good trade for the red team on both sides, hitting the Tomb Guard, and now these Skeleton Chariots are entirely fucked.
But
Though, I will say I don't think that the revealing them was worth it, because like I said, forests are currently being forests, and most of this Empire army actually isn't hidden. Like,
So-
yeah, I can see them all.
the one thing that Swarm Tank can be very, very careful is that if you notice, the lines have basically shifted 90 degrees. Like, now red is on the right side of the map, green and blue are on the other side of the map, which means that green and blue's flank is almost entirely exposed to red spawn points. If they start summoning Hellstriders and Reichsguard or Knights of Blazing Sun, they have a clear path directly into the Tomb King's backline, which could be a devastating flank if that's what Hippo and Drakons are preparing. But I think the go time is very soon. I think the Empire doesn't have a whole lot of time left. They need to start getting on those points. They have almost their entire rosters on the field at this point, so and it looks like they agree with me.
It's not like they're ogres or corn. It takes them a long time to kill this stuff.
Yeah.
Long time to waddle up, so they got to get moving. Looks like they are now.
So the Revenge coming in, trying to get this carrying to go away. Nice burning head, get some damage on the Kepler Guard, but the Kepler Guard are not going anywhere soon. They're extremely resilient units. The Empire Knights are so bunched up and getting hammered by the artillery, but I feel like a lot of the Dwarven ammo has been wasted just firing into these trees. A lot of bush
Could
opti
be. We'll see if it's going to be enough.
Yeah. On Bush Opti firing in on the trolls. Yeah, nice bit of shades. Gets the Akron miners, which prevents them from throwing, which is really, really nice. Now these trolls can just run up through the front line and try to make sure they never get to fire those blasting charges, which is a huge amount of value. And now the fight's coming in, and there is that flank, although it's with the Hammer of the Witches, not what I was expecting. We have a Hellstrider coming in the back, trying to get on top of some of these cannons. Some Dwarf Warriors in the way, but they're a little bit too slow to stop some Hellstriders. And now the dude wall cometh. Can the Dwarven and the Tomb King infantry actually stand up against this? The problem is well, let's see, the southern flank for TK and Dwarves is a little bit weak. There's not a whole lot up here compared to their safe side, but yeah, that does leave a pretty nice route for the red team to actually come in and get on top of these units. Hellstriders do get on top of the cannons, getting peeled off by some Nekar horsemen, but I don't know if it's going to save them in time. Shutting those cannons is a pretty big win. Without a whole lot of cannons left on the field, not a lot of ammo for Bush Opti, the Knights and the Trolls are going to be nigh unstoppable. Dwarves already weren't fans of Trolls. Tomb Kings don't fare a whole lot better against them in melee, so Trolls could be an absolute terror against this Dwarven armored front line. But the red team really needs to get on these objectives. That's the thing, because they sat in the trees for so long, they're down in points. They really need to get on these objectives quick to make up for that. These are grenade launchers coming from the Empire as well, just getting some of these Dwarf Warriors, and even though they aren't AP, they'll do really, really nasty damage to the Dwarven Warriors.
It is also a 3k damage value advantage to the Tomb Kings and Dwarves that they have to overcome a little bit.
Boris
Burning Head hits some stuff, but doesn't finish anything off.
Boris does get in the back on the Bush Opti, doing pretty good work. And where's Archie? Oh, I'd love to see Archie and Boris go for a snipe on Kotep right now. He's completely exposed in the backfield, and they both have nice routes onto him.
Yeah, Archie's been trying to stop cannons. He's been fighting cannons for a while.
A valiant attempt. And like I said, look at all these red reinforcements coming in from the left side and just swarming into this exposed backfield. Now it's going to be very, very hard for the Swarven tank to actually keep their shooting online.
Yeah. Arcannon got lost in the sauce for a bit. He's moving again now. It looks like he's maybe going to go help fight Thoric, but the frontline fight is going really badly for the Empire and Chaos.
Yeah, there's
Dwarves
not
aren't
a
just
whole
holding it, they're winning it.
Yeah, well, there's not a whole lot of AP available for the Empire. It's kind of relying on these Trolls and these Chaos Warriors, which are grinding pretty well. There's a lot of Dwarven bodies, but the point is starting to flip in the favor of the red team. Both of them are, in fact. There are some Skeleton Spearmen coming to reinforce Objective 2, but there's a lot of red bodies just swarming onto the field. And that's the thing, with so many bodies in the field, it takes so long to wipe them out that if red can 3-cap, they can hold it for a very long time. Boris is a little stuck in fighting Thoric, trying to get out of there. Archie is doing a good job shutting down the missiles, but we do have some Dragonback Slayers coming in now, and those Trolls are not going to be liking that fight. And the Dwarven lines do seem to be buckling a little bit on the south side of the map. The north is holding pretty well with reinforcements coming in, but there's just so many red bodies swarming all over this map. They should be able to 3-cap here before very long. And with so much shooting in your army, it's going to be very hard to retake.
I will say I do not love the use of Archaon right now. He is one of the best duelists in the game, and he keeps getting thrown into just a pile of bodies to try and help break them, but it's like, he could be helping Boris duel Thoric right now, he could be sniping Kotep, he could be chasing your Shopti, so I really am not a fan of how he's being used by Drakons, unfortunately.
Yeah.
The overall tactics are going fine, but I just think that is one thing that could be improved upon.
Yeah, when you've got this many units on the field, it can be very, very hard to spend that much attention to actually micro a character like that and get the full use out of him, but I agree, I would love to see him go and try to snipe Kotep or Thoric. They're both very, very valuable, very exposed targets.
Another Pit of Shades on some Quarrelers and Skeleton Warriors doing decent damage over there for the Empire.
But the Dwarves are having a really hard time retaking ground, like I said, because they have so much shooting. There's just not the bodies to actually go and fight. Thoric is throwing the blob, and honestly, if you're not taking the characters to fight Thoric, just walk past him and go kill the shooting. Just take the trolls, walk past him, go kill the Shopti, go kill the cannons. The 3-cap is going to be coming in. We got a new wave of Empire Knights coming in. That's going to be very, very hard to shut down. There's not a lot of shooting left.
Stalkers are killing Boris. He's sitting right in front of him.
Ooh, that's rough. He does have regen, though, so if he can get away, he should be able to heal up, but that's a lot of damage. The Eyes of the Desert do so much damage at range. Boris needs to get out of there. And again, like I was saying, with chaotic 2v2s, the way they are, it's very, very easy to miss that kind of thing. For even like 30 seconds, you can just look away and he'll be gone. And that's what's going to happen if Hippo is not careful. It's a lot of damage. No, Toddy boy.
It is a triple cap for red, by the way.
Yeah, and hopefully...
finished off.
Yeah, they do have more and more infantry streaming in. And look at that, there's a new Shopee summon on Red's spawn point, just trying to cut off the reinforcement tide, but it looks like it came in a little bit too late. It'll be really hard for the Dwarves to actually push off all of these bodies. There's just so many red units on the center field. They are starting to catch up in value as well. Not a ton, they're still behind, but they've got so much... Their build is so much more optimized to be in this melee grind. And Swarv is supply capped. He's sitting on 3,000 supplies he just can't use because his dwarves are still on the field fighting or routing and just not getting back in the reinforcement pool.
Yeah. We have Slayers fighting Empire Knights. It's actually a decent trade for both. But Archaon, while Boris was getting sniped, Archaon got a 3-skeleton burning head that killed all 3 of them because they were walking in like a straight line.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
like,
it was tough.
It looks like Boris did get out and rally. He regened up enough to actually rally, and I'd love to see him just desummon. It's too risky to bring him back. Just let him be desummoned. You can resummon him later if you feel like it. Kotep is getting desummoned. I imagine that means he's out of wand, which means no more healing for the Tomb Kings. It's just going to really hurt them in these long, protracted melee grinds that their opponents are forcing them into. There's just no signs of this 3-cap breaking anytime soon, and there's just more and more infantry being resummoned for the red team.
Hellstorm Rocket Battery has been resummoned. Full ammunition, now it's firing in, dealing pretty good damage to the Dwarves, a little bit of friendly fire to the Empire.
And with no missiles, to contest it, it's completely free unless those Carrion can actually just put the team on their back. But these Halberds here, these Halberds need to move up though. They're not actually fighting the Carrion. Come on, Halberds, you got to protect your friends. You got to protect your countrymen. Oh, that's really
Center point is getting captured by the Dwarves at the moment. Thoric and his Norgoblings.
Yeah, but those Nurgle are just so low HP that they're not actually providing a whole lot of capture rate. So fresh unit Marauders is actually outcapping that much more elite Nurgle unit.
The Halberdiers are still AFK, so it looks like the Sunmaker is going to go down.
Nice Pit of Shades on the Kepler Guard as well as the Eyes of the Desert. Toddy and Archaon are doing really, really good work keeping their units in the fight. And now we do have another wave of infantry coming in for Swarv and Tank, but they're just... Dwarf Warriors, they're very, very good in melee, but they take forever to kill things, so it's just so much time taking to actually recapture these objectives, and that's what their team is banking on. They're just playing the clock, just throwing bodies at the point and hoping they can hold on long enough, despite a pretty sizable value deficit. Looks like the Dwarves are starting to push back on all 3 fronts.
The Carrion did finish off the Sunmaker entirely, so it is gone. And, wow. Point 1 is just a mess. Every health bar is low.
Yep. And this is the time when you want that nice terror pieces from Boris and Archaon, although they don't really affect the Tomb Kings, which is mostly what's here. There's not even a dwarf in sight.
Yeah, and they don't even affect dwarves that much because there's a lot of Slayers or Longbeards or IGP. But its leadership debuff stats still do affect the way things crumble, hopefully pushing them off the field.
Yeah, and we're nearing the point where the blue team is going to have to 3-cap, and I think Red's aware of that. They're just sending all the bodies they can to objective number 1, just trying to hang on over here. because there's so many dwarves on the far side of the map and skeletons that are just going to take forever to rotate over here. So even if they do take Objective 3, which they finally secured it, but they have to 3-cap. Which means all those troops from Objective 3 can't help the fight on the far side of the map. So they either have to rotate and leave that objective exposed, or just hang out there and just fight at a deficit on Objective number 1. There's so many bodies pouring in, as well as the grenade launchers just going ham on these infantry blobs.
Yeah, they're going to have to rotate over and help with this Tomb Guard, though, because the Tomb Guard aren't even crumbling. It looks like Outriders do see that. They're just coming over. There's 3 or 4 units all piled on top of each other. That's a huge volley for them, but it looks like they're going too far.
No, they're trying to hide from all those Thunderers. The Thunderers are chasing them.
Supporter Stalkers are also teeing off on them. I think they just got to turn and fight at this point. Turn and fire, do something.
Yeah, I agree. Just one volley can swing that fight very, very quickly. And the Dwarves do retake the center. Can the red team hang on to Objective 1? They only need to hold it for about 2 more minutes. They've got a lot more bodies coming. They need to hang on for these few seconds. The grenade launchers need to sit on the objective. They need to clear off some of these chaff units. And they do. They swing the objective weight back in their favor. If they can get their reinforcements on the point, I think they can get it. But there's so many Dwarves coming. They need something to body block these Dwarves. Get these Marauders on the line. There's so many Dwarves piling in.
How are these Tomb Guard not gone by now? One's at 41 HP and it's crumbling, but it's just not going anywhere.
Yeah, and there's so many blue and green bodies swarming on this objective. I think Dwarves and TK have got it.
Yeah, they're going to capture it.
There's a lot of Hellstriders piling in as well. Capture rate's going back and forth. Oh, my game is in Polish. I can't tell. But yeah, that's the cap. And I think Dwarves and TK have got it just by a hair.
Yeah. There's nothing for red that's even close to points 2. Point 3, they have some trolls that are about to rout and some almost dead swordsmen, but there's 3 undead units over there.
Yeah, I think that's that. I don't see them retaking this objective.
Crumbling is balanced. Look at these units with like literally no health bars and they're just barely crumbling away.
Yep.
That's GG.
That is game 1. So this is a best of 3. The finals are best of 3, so we have potentially 2 more games to go. Let's see the value on... Yeah, the Dwarven Artillery did okay. It didn't have a whole lot of value, but it shut down the Empire Knights, which did pretty good work. Let's see this bow shop devalue. Yeah, not that much, honestly. They did pretty... I mean, they did well, but not nearly as much as I was anticipating. Just kind of a body tide.
A bit of a body tide.
Oh, those chariots got 1,860 value. That's what I'd like to see, tank. Give it.
Looks like they got summoned 2 or 3 times.
We're not going to talk about that. We're just going to pretend that they did that much.
All right. Sparta Soccer's almost 3,000.
I think that was off of 1 summon, too. That unit is insanely strong.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. For the OTK guys, I think the overall strategy was sound. I think some of the tactics were not, if that makes sense. Like the large plan was good. I didn't like the usage of Archaon, and it really did come back to bite them. Kotep was able to stay on the field and use all of his Winds of Magic, use all of his ammunition when there was a couple times he could have been sniped out. Boris fought Thoric alone, did literally 0 damage, and it's like Archaon was just running around trying to fight infantry. It's like maybe either both of them should commit to the same task, or Boris should be the one cycle charging a bunch of stuff and routing it or making it crumble faster, and Archaon should be dueling. So I didn't like the allocation of resources because Boris is a pretty god-awful duelist. Like,
I mean, he'll kill Kotep, but it's not saying a whole lot.
Yeah, but he's a support lord in a combat lord's skin. Like, I like Boris, but he's not meant to just straight up 1v1 nerds. That's what Franz does.
Yep. He's a budget utility lord. He's very good at that role, but he's not going to put the team on his back. I feel like if you're going for that big just build up and push, then you really don't want to be starting all that artillery. That was, almost 3,000 funds worth of artillery just kind of down the drain at the very beginning. It's a pretty big value sink for my RTK boys.
You watching LEC?
No, I don't watch LEC. LEC is terrible. Oh wait, LEC. No, yeah, I don't watch LCS. LEC is good. Words are hard.
That's why I asked about the LEC.
Letters are hard. I'm sorry. Yes.
I tried to pay attention.
Yeah. No, it's been pretty good.
Yeah, I watched. LCS has been pretty poppin', but I listen to the Euphoria podcast, so I get like my weekly update on how the LEC is going. So, can you tell me what the fuck happened to XL and Fnatic? Because listening to those rosters, I'm like, those are dope ass rosters. And then every week The U4 podcast is like, okay, they underperformed a little bit, and then all of a sudden, week 3, they're like, so everything went to shit, and they got knocked out. And I'm like, whoa, oh, okay.
So apparently Fnac didn't learn the lesson when they had Reckless on and Wonder both on G2. Reckless wants to play a weak side bot lane. Like, he doesn't want resources, he just wants to sit back and scale. But then you have Wonder in the top lane who wants to do the same thing. So then what the fuck does your jungler do all game? It's like you have a weak side bot, you have a weak side top, so your jungler just can't do anything in the early game. And Razork is a pretty good early game jungler, so he just doesn't have anywhere to allocate resources to, so they just don't have anything happening in the early game. So then they just try to sit back and scale, but their opponent runs the game in the early game, and they just don't exist on the map.
Damn.
Yeah, that's Fnatic, basically. XL, I don't know. I don't watch XL games, to be honest. I've been following... I've been following mostly G2 and Vitality.
Oh, okay, so just the good teams.
Yeah. Well, I'm a big G2 fan. I have been for a while, and then I like watching Vitality too when I have time. Because they're a good team.
NA is weird right now. We have actually a good number of good teams. We're looking pretty solid. So week like 1.
100 Thieves and oh wait, FlyQuest is actually nutty, isn't it? Didn't they make a super team?
Yeah, 100 Thieves, EG, C9, and FlyQuest are all looking real good. At the moment, FlyQuest looking the best, but the rest are looking good. What's weird is everyone came out the gates hot. Every single team came out the gates and was playing strong. Like, even if they lost, they played strong. You know, they didn't just roll over and die. And it felt like some of them got their backs broken because week 3, especially, there was a lot of games where the team that ended up losing just gave up at like 5 minutes and like just farm, let them have the dragon. Let him have a Baron too. Just farm, guys. We're so fucking dead. It's like the top teams are really fun to watch, but the bottom teams completely lost their will to fight, and it was brutal to watch. So we'll see if they rally in week 4 or something. But what's weird is C9 also did that a little bit. Like, FlyQuest bodied them pretty hard, and then they had a game versus EG where they just like AFK farmed, which is not a C9 thing. Like, I don't know. There's good teams that sit back and farm. Like TL currently, they're not a top tier team, but they're good. But that's not C9. C9's like super aggro early, and then they lost the FlyQuest, and it just felt like they were shook. And they're like, we can't play the game again. We just need to make it to 40 minutes, and maybe we'll stand a chance. So, I hope they rally. You know, you never want to watch a team that was good just like shit the bed and die.
Yeah, FlyQuest is looking really strong though. The fact that they got Prince is insane. Prince is so good.
I have one thing to say before I need to go grab a drink before we get our next replay. But like, in the history of League of Legends, there has been a lot of nuance in hype where like someone's like, oh man, Doublelift, he's so fucking good, man, so fucking good. And Stixxay, he's trash. And then you watch their games and it's like, okay, Doublelift farms slightly better than Stixxay, and in team fights, he doesn't die as quickly. Okay, I guess he's good. Yeah, like, but it's nuanced, right? It's not like watching Doublelift. It looks like he's just styling on kids. Prince, for once, is living up to that hype of like kind of the shy levels from when you went to Worlds and I got to see him. Like when you know this player's really good. And it's like, how good are they? And you watch him and you're like, it feels like he's playing a different character than everybody else. Like his Lucian looks so fucking insane. And you watch someone else play Lucian, you're like, this is shit. Whatever this is garbage.
Yep.
Prince guy. So I'm really excited to see what he does because Caps is kind of that way too. For like an EU example, where you know you'd see, what was the big champion when he came out? I think Silas was coming out around that time. Anyway, you see a bunch of Silases go in and feed, and you're like, okay, he has 1v5 moments in the late game. But other than that, he just farms. He farms early, falls really far behind, and he tries to have a miracle team fight, or you lose the game. And Caps was having the miracle team fights from level 3, and you're just like, holy shit, this champion could play the game before level 6? What is this? And Caps just going in. And it's like the third minion wave, he gets level 2 and fucks off. He goes top lane and ganks with Wonder, and you're like, what is this?
Yeah, so, Caps is so exciting to watch for that reason, though.
Yeah, and that's why it's like nice to actually see someone live up to that kind of hype rather than usually in NA the hype is. It's like, yes, Doublelift is a really good AD carry, but like to see that, it's very subtle, and it's like, well, Prince is just Gale Force flash styling on kids. So
I don't know if you watch any of the Asian regions, the China and Korea, but the Lucians over there are insane. Like, the difference between Western and Eastern Lucians is incredible.
Yeah, it's brutal. I always get scared for our chances when I see the Eastern regions. I'm like, oh shit, we might be fucked. All right, I'm gonna grab something to drink. It looks like on stream you got the round 2 replay.
I did.
No one sent it to me. Yeah,
do
so
that.
send it my way. I'll be right back. You can feel free to start casting the army if you get into the game before me.
Actually, take this moment to run to the restroom. So, chat, I will be right back, and we'll get right into this game. So, BRB.
Sounds good. I'm back. Did you start it? Where the hell did Platy go? Yes, just me. Solo cast. All right, what do we got here? RTK Drakens versus VM Tank on Bordello Landing. Okay. Hitman Hippo and Swarv, the supporting cast. Let's take a look at the armies here. So, for the forces of Nurgle, we do have a Tzeentch caster riding a dragon. Kairos riding a dragon. It's pretty exciting stuff. The rest of the army is entirely Noblars. 14 Noblar trappers, 13 Noblars. For the forces of Khorne, it is your mother.
Oh,
what?
Nice. Classy.
I am very classy.
Yep, so we got Khorne Nurgle for Dragons and Hippo, and then Coast Dark Elves for Swarv and Tank. That's a weird one.
That is a weird one.
I think they got heavy on the shooting as well.
Lottie fled the second you left. That sounds like him.
I did do that. I had
Whoa! Look at these boats. Ah, this map's cool. This map's cool.
I keep forgetting that you've never seen these maps before.
Yeah, they're new to me.
Do you like?
They're pretty cool.
Do you like the penis tower in the center of the map?
Ha! Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's pretty good.
There's a surprising number of Dom maps with that kind of Easter egg.
It's just in there. I was looking at the ships. The ships look dope as hell.
I didn't know there were ships on this map, I'll be perfectly honest. I assume they're off to the south side, like off the beach.
Yeah. Do you
looked.
think they're gonna be in the forest? Come on.
Well, you said boat. My first thought was Wolfric, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
And I realized he's not in this game.
Did you you have debug cam?
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
Dude, there's actually a surprising amount of effort put into the outside of the map.
Yeah. Our map,
Like-
like the community map makers are really, really good.
Well, I even meant the CA official maps, but yes.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just like, if you go out there, you can see that it's angled, but it's actually pretty clever. Because I'm not going to say that, like, wow, you can't believe you guys didn't plan for me to zoom out to an area I'm not supposed to be and look at stuff. But, like, the way they angle everything towards the center of the map, if you're sitting in the map and look around, it's actually really beautiful map design overall.
Mm-hmm.
This one is especially well
Right.
put together.
I messed up. I paused at 11 seconds.
That's fine. I will unpause for 1 whole second and I'm caught up.
Alright, which side do you want?
I'll do the RTK boys for once. You've covered them enough.
Alright.
All right, Nurgle and Khorne. We do have Velkia, Festus the Leech Lord. Ooh, yeah, okay, so it's a Khorne and Nurgle pairing. Both of the melee squads, but one is good at healing and defense, and the other is good at offense. That should, in theory, be a pretty good pairing. 4 Minotaurs of running it down. Chaos Warriors, Marauders of Khorne, Chaos Warriors and Marauders of Nurgle, Festus for some healing, and the Festering Stooges. Short, sweet, to the point.
Hey, you notice a certain item that Valkyrie didn't bring?
God damn it. It's less egregious if she has healing as a companion. It's less bad.
That's true. I actually played this combo for a 2v2 tournament a week or so ago, and I gotta tell you, Cornitors with healing is gross. It's so gross.
I'm extremely concerned about that for the Coast and Dark Elves, but we'll talk about strategy after you cover their army.
Yeah, so for Coast, we got Noctilus on his Necrofex. He's got Invocation, Drown Dead, Captain Roth's Moondial, and doesn't look like he brought Wraithstorm. 2 pistols, we got, what do we have? We have Malekith, shocker, I know. And look at that, Circlet of Iron. Who knew? Then we got a pretty heavy artillery core for the Coast. Haven't seen one of these in ages. We got cannons, we got mortars, we got a second cannon. We got handgun, we got black spot, and so 3 handguns, 2 cannons, and a mortar, backed up by Corsairs, Blake Swords, and Tide of Skill. This is a very thematic map. We got the Coast and the Dark Elf Pirates landing on the ships and attacking the forces of Chaos.
Yeah.
All right.
Unpause in 3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1, go.
So, I am already worried. Because neither of these factions of the Coast or Dark Elves have really good tools to stop the Minotaurs. And I mean, like, healing on top of them is going to be great, of course, all those things, yada yada. But just in general, it's like, oh fuck, what stops the Minotaurs here?
There's got to be the handguns and the cannons. Like, you got to shoot them. You can't kill them in melee.
I suppose. Maybe some animated Hulks could get someone to hold them in place for a second, but it feels like the Minotaurs, when the fighting starts, can just right-click on the cannons and nothing can stop them from getting there.
So the nice thing about this kind of map is you can have the cannons actually be really, really deep near your spawn zone, so it's actually pretty hard for the Cornitors to get that deep onto the map. So we do have the Cultists being summoned in for Nurgle. I suspect we'll see the Barons of the Bog come in next, as that debuff blob we've seen many times at this point is just so potent.
True. Swarv and Tank are summoning in lots of guns and bows, so they don't really want to opt into that melee grind fight. I
suspect we'll see a somewhat similar tactic of just sitting back until Khorne and Nurgle summon in most of their armies, and then just pushing front to like one end of the map to the other. They need to get back and not take a whole lot of shooting on the approach. Because that
Chaos Warrior lost 1/4 of its HP exactly.
And more importantly, it lost 1/4 of its models, so Festus can't even heal up any of that damage done.
Exactly.
So that's actually pretty brutal. Necrofexes aren't a unit you see a whole lot in Domination, so it's pretty neat to see it coming in and actually doing a ton of damage. Like this kind of,
see it in the land either.
Yeah, this kind of Coast build has gone extinct. Like you don't see Coast range builds these days. It's all about that Coast melee blob, which is gross. But against Nurgle, it ain't gonna fly, so you gotta adapt. So it's a pretty interesting build they actually brought in. But yeah, the Nurgle forces need to, either get in there and start fighting, or back off and stop taking shots. Like there's no reason to just let your opponent sit here and shoot you. That said, it will be pretty difficult for the red team to actually pressure a 3-cap here, which means that Nurgle and Khorne do have a lot of time to actually just sit back and get their entire army on the field. And honestly, if you'd like, since the tactic does seem to be sitting back and building up, we could fast forward for a bit until the engagement actually starts to begin in earnest.
That is true. I'm doing some admin stuff at the moment for a second.
Okay. There's a lot of guns coming in. Handguns. Looks like there's at least 5 handguns on this field. Looks like that's what Coast is going to be relying on to actually be the stopping power to put down those Minotaurs. Malekith is coming around the side. He's going to try to get some cheeky breath attacks, it looks like.
Yeah.
I assume. Probably on the Chaos Warriors, the best target.
Alright, I am done adminning. You want to fast forward?
Yeah, let's see this. Oh, he canceled the breath attack. What? Did that take... It took the use. It just barely spewed anything. It's a bit of a waste. That feels really bad. Ooh.
Yeah, you must give it a movement order after it went off.
Yeah, I've never actually seen that happen. Usually when you cancel it with a movement order, it goes off anyway and just bugs out and doesn't use the cast, but that was brutal. It used a little bit of it and took the entire charge.
Valky is diving on the Nocti, getting
a
little bit of damage on him.
Yeah, Nocti on the Necro isn't actually a great melee combatant, but those Dark Shards will definitely swing the fight. Alright, do you want to fast forward a little bit?
Oh, sure. Let's go to 4 minutes even.
Alright, fast forward to 4 minutes. We're poking. Oh, we're going in.
Perfect.
Nice.
Yeah, they're starting to move
And
up.
4 minutes. Press and play. Well, Valky's taking a little bit of fire, but honestly, this is okay. Valky's so small and can be healed up, so just going in and wasting your opponent's ammo is perfectly fine thing for her to be doing. Now, a lot of the fire is being focused on the infantry, not a whole lot of shooting on the Minos yet, which is kind of surprising. I don't know how Necrofexes do against Minos, but I expect he does pretty fine, unless I'm sorely mistaken. Ooh, beautiful spear coming down onto 2 pistol mobs, getting loads and loads of damage. Very, very nice. Handguns are starting to shoot in onto these shielded Chaos Corn Warriors, so they're not doing a whole lot of damage. The Minos are holding back for the time being. Just you really want to let the infantry get up there first, start disrupting the missiles, and then you can bring the Minos to be your 1-2 punch. Furies coming in as well. Furies will actually do really, really well into the terrible melee stats of deckhand handgun mobs. They'll kill off the entire mob. Yeah, they'll kill it off entirely. So we got a nice.
Sorry, I was gonna say Dark Elves have been taking Harpies to do the same thing. Coast does not like getting dove on.
Yeah, but we got a bunch of summons coming in from Noct. Let's just try and slow down the Nurgle advance, which I really, really like here. Just, slow them down, waste their time, get off more and more shots. But the Harpies are coming in. There's not a whole lot to peel them. Cold One Knights coming in. Honestly, they're pretty terrible at peeling off at Furies or Harpies, so because they do rely on their anti-large stats to actually get much damage done. We do have the Festering Stooges firing a nice volley into Lamprey's Revenge. Lamprey's Revenge are still so tanky, but the Corn Minotaurs with the Granted Weapons will do very, very good work against them. And the Nurgle Tide cometh. The Coast is accruing a lot of value very, very quickly, but they have to, because once they get engaged in melee, they are going to fold like a piece of paper.
And the Minobus is arriving, killing off the Lamprey's Revenge. Now they're diving into the back line. Really nothing here to stop them.
I have not seen the Lamprey's Revenge die that quickly in a long time, and honestly, I love it. I fuck that unit, so I hate that unit so much.
Well, yeah, you won't have to see it for very long. They're already crumbling, taking a lot of damage.
Glorious. Now, like I said, the Harpies in the backfield are actually doing a lot of work killing off units. And we get some Fleshhounds getting back onto these cannons as well. These Corn Disruption pieces are doing really, really good work against the Coast backline. And this seems to be going pretty well for the Forces of Chaos. And they're doing a very good job of not stacking their units, just slipping through the gaps and trying to engage on as many fronts as possible. Because you do win those melee fights, you want as many melee fights happening as possible. Just trying to get around, to get through every crevice in the line, make sure you're engaging on every melee front. So you're doing a very, very good job.
They're starting to disintegrate, but they are going to dive onto cannons with their last little burst of life.
Yeah, and we've talked about before, like having the cycling of those Furies, the fact they go in, they die, and they come back again, when you have so many funds in 2v2 is so valuable, especially since they are just going to be so universally useful against all these zombies and all these shooting. That is so vulnerable to it. The huge Soul Stealer coming on the melee blob, but Festus is just going to be healing that up. He's got healing elixirs going, got a Horn of Corn, and Festus is also passive spamming, so he's giving the Nurgle passive to the entire army, just 1% heal every few seconds to his entire army, so even the Minotaurs on the far side of the map are healing up. But looks like Coast and Dark Elves are managing to hold on to the center objective somehow for the time being. And yeah, Nurgle and Corn need to flip that, and they need to flip it soon. And look at the value difference between Corn and Nurgle. Nurgle is purely here to support. It's all about those Cornitars.
9,000 to 9,000 though. The damage values are about even now.
Yeah, which is not good for the shooting faction. Like, they're just going to be pushed back and back and back. It's going to be pretty rough. They need to start finding a lead in the value pretty quickly. It's a nice Stream of Corruption, and Noctilus is not looking so hot. He's definitely looking the worse for wear. But Malachi's here practically. We do have some Depth Guard coming in now, which are a nice choice, but the anti-infantry Minos will tear them apart. Cold Knights are trying to get on top of the Minos, but Cold Knights against Minos, I don't know if you've tried that matchup, but it has disappointed me so many times.
Yeah, Cold Ones just don't really have the raw stats to get through Minotaurs.
Yeah, I mean, they don't do well against much infantry.
Okay if they're supported right now. They have Dark Riders helping, and these Minotaurs are almost dead, so they'll be okay there. But in a normal fight, it doesn't really go their way.
Yeah, we do have some Corn Great Weapon Minnows in the back line, which are doing really good work in standing these Hulks and the Dark Riders and getting on top of the cannons. Festus is coming up with a huge Stream of Corruption. Honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing Festus swap to the Mortis here. There's so many targets here for him to just be draining down. So many enemy bodies, and just keep spamming that passive healing. But I do worry for the Dark Elves and Coast. The cycling power of Nurgle and Corn is so strong. Their ability able to just recycle infantry is incredible. With the Nurglings and the Furies and the Fleshhounds, they just can spam out units so much faster and use their supplies more efficiently. Look at Swerve and Tank, they're both just about supply cap. They don't have anything left to summons, they're sitting on loads and loads of supplies.
I wonder how close we are to a Sword of Corn.
Oh, I saw a couple of Horn of Corns going down, so I don't think they're really leaning into that, which I think is probably a mistake. I think Sword of Corn is a beautiful attempt. But it looks like we do have a bit of a backup attempt coming in from the red team. He's trying to get on Objective 1. which would be a nice play to just try and buy themselves some time. There are some horsemen trying to back cap as well. And we do a flesh hound back cap.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Triple flesh hound. These flesh hounds, the thing is, once they cap, they can actually kill this dread spear. If they recharge with one, they spears turn around, they recharge with another. But the thing is, once they cap, they have just a free reign into the coast backline. It's going to be 3 flesh hounds coming on these cannons, on these pistols, like whatever they want is just going to be free food. Look at Khorne just racking up that damage. And all these Minotaurs, Festus, I wish you could track healing value, because Festus has done so much healing in the center blob fight. It's so hard to deal with this Minnow Festus blob.
A Sword of Khorne did come in while you were watching the Flesh Hounds, and it hit a depth guard and animated Hulk.
Oh, I see a dead depth guard. Yeah, I see a dead depth guard. It's just crumbling with 500 hit points. Yeah. Those Flesh Hounds are just an absolute terror, because like I said, they just come in, they fight, they die, they come back, and there's a constant menace, and they're going to beat most of the mobility options. Short of Cold One Knights, they'll defeat anything. They'll defeat the Coast Dogs, the Dark Riders, anything. Cannons
They're currently fighting Dark Riders and Dread Spears on that point, and actually it looks like the Coast and Dark Elves are going to take 0.3 back.
Yeah, but that forces their much slower units to come over here and reinforce, while the Flesh Hounds could honestly, the Flesh Hounds could just dip. They could just dip and run back to the center, and since Nurgle is securing their back objective, they should be just fine to cede that objective and just force Coast to get resources to a place they'd really rather not otherwise. That's a massive Soul Steal coming in the middle, getting Valkia, the Cultist, Festus, as well as a load of infantry. Where even is Malekith? Oh, he's over there. He's probably accrued a ton of value already. Oh, yeah, he's already up to 4,000 value. But it doesn't matter, because Festus is just healing it up. And looks like Noctis is in trouble. Valky's on top of him. He's stuck in the blob. His melee weapon strength is being nerfed by the Cultist. Noctis is in a lot of trouble. We have more Furies coming in. These missile pieces are going to be so hard to keep online for Coast. And Noctis is in a lot of trouble. Backcap?
Backcap was stopped by both sides.
Yep.
Both sides secured their original points.
Not just yet. The red team is winning that fight, but they're not actually on the point, so they're taking it very, very slowly. But they should be able to hold it for a while. But this... I feel like this blob in the center is just going to be the deciding factor. There's nothing that can get rid of it.
Yeah. Nocti should have probably brought Pit of Shades.
Nocti has Pit of Shades? Really?
In his spell kit, yeah. He didn't bring it here, but yeah, he does.
Yeah, that really high burst impact damage is what you need, but looks like Swarv and Tank tap out. That was fast. Yeah. I don't disagree. Like, that was a really, really rough spot from the B-in, but yeah, Khorne Nurgle is a scary, scary combo, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Khorne being banned out in the last game after that.
Well, they can't play it again.
Oh, right. I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm.
So that actually changed things up a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, neither side can play it. Yeah. Should be seeing a lot more
I completely forgot about that. But yeah, look at the Minotaur value. Honestly, not actually that big. One of them got 3k, though. Yeah, Minos, Fleshhounds going burr. I guess the game wasn't that long. Fury's doing good work.
Yeah, that's probably it, is that the game is only like half over time-wise.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody bringing Kugath and Scarbrand, disappointing. I don't know about Scarbrand.
I played a 2v2 against... It was Hanadin's and somebody else in the game. I don't think it was his partner from today, whose name I keep forgetting, but they played Tzeentch Khorne. They brought Scarbrand with Regrowth on Kairos, and Scarbrand got about 5k value. Just running rampant.
I always have troubles getting Scarbrand to pay for himself.
Yeah, Scarbrand's a terrible unit. Nobody should ever bring him. I am the OG Scarbrand hater. I've hated that fucker since day one.
What were the global bans? No idea, but since we haven't seen vampire counts, probably vampire counts.
I suppose we could ask what the global bans were. Malekith still got a cool 4.3k value, which I know you're ecstatic about.
Oh, I love it. He's such a cool guy.
One game left.
One game left.
Who's gonna win it?
Good question. I'm obviously rooting for Drac and Tippo, my clanmates.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
Yeah. So.
What?
I'm assuming, yeah, so we're assuming Counts is banned. Probably something like Slaanesh is also banned. So, what do you think we're going to be seeing in the finals? Let's see, what factions are actually still available? Yeah, actually Brett might have been banned too, but yeah, Brett's definitely a very strong option that we haven't seen yet. I actually think the Lizardmen are pretty good in 2v2s. You can get some nasty Dreadsaurian blobs if you have the right supporting ally.
I'm guessing Zinch.
Zinch is definitely a possibility. Skaven haven't been seeing either, and they're still pretty good. I don't know, there's not a whole lot of factions left on the table. You go through 4 factions each round. It's already 8 factions down, plus 2 global bans. Or is it 4 global bans?
It's for everybody in the game gets a global ban.
Yeah, so that's half the roster gone.
Uh-huh.
I'm kind of curious
No,
we'll
that
see.
was-
Yeah?
Sorry, that was the intention when we made the tournament. It's like, I mean,
Yeah.
there's 23 factions, so the most you could use is 16, so nobody can complain about there's nothing left to pick. It's like, even
Yep.
if you went as long as possible, you have picked 16 out of 23.
Yeah. I'm kind of curious we'll see any Demons of Chaos. I think they could have some decent synergies with some factions in 2v2s.
You're surprised they didn't swap pistols for hand cannons? Are hand cannons normal?
No. Like,
Alright.
shooting's not normal. I don't even think they had the main pistol. I think it was mostly handguns. If
Yeah.
I'm not mistaken, it was mostly handguns. Yeah, they had 2 pistols. Mostly handguns. And I could see hand cannons. They'll probably do a bit better against the Minotaurs, but a bit worse against the infantry. What's nice about handguns is they do stagger infantry, so they actually slow their opponent's approach. I don't know how that interacts with all the heavy armor shields of the Khorne warriors and the Nurgle warriors.
Could be ogres. I think we probably won't be seeing. Damn it! I just had the faction that I was like, that's a trash faction. Kislev. Kislev's
Oh yeah,
probably
Kislev's
not
terrible.
good.
Yeah. Yeah, ogres are actually surprisingly good. We've done some testing with them. Well, actually, they won the last 2v2 tournament I was in. Sandwich and Subutai won with Ogre Brett, I think. But ogre shooting, like lead belchers, with an actual front line from somebody else is so powerful. On top of the fact that you can actually stack ogre bulls on top of decent infantry sometimes, that's actually a really, really solid front line. Ogre Skaven is one that could actually be really, really good, I think.
I can see that. Skaven get everybody low. Ogres finish them off.
Well, the other thing is you can use a front line of ogre bulls and back up the globes and not worry about the friendly fire. Yeah. And it's actually a pretty nasty. Well, I haven't tested, but I suspect it's a pretty nuts combo. So I'm excited to see what picks we get for the final game.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're talking League.
League of Legends.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you watched any of the LEC? Because G2 in particular has been a really fun team to watch.
I have not watched too much. I watched a bit of week 1 because the LCS started a week later than you guys, so I was like, well, I'd rather watch something.
Okay.
But no, I haven't been watching too much. Like I said, I just listened to the Euphoria podcast to get updates on like
Okay.
what happened in the week.
Okay, because Hans Sama has been going absolutely nuts.
Which is funny because he was utter shite on TL.
Yeah, well, TL was an utter shite team, and then you put him on a good team.
Maybe he like. There's a partial truth to that, but there was a bit of like watching the games. It's like, all right, you failed that flash. Like, there's no way that's like miscommunication.
I didn't watch a single game. I'm just talking shit.
Yeah, I mean, everybody. Some people have off years, some people have good years and stuff. But it seems like he is vibing now that he's back with a EU roster.
Yeah, well, they've also been playing very, very early game focus. He's been playing a lot of Draven, which is his specialty, and he just goes nuts. Especially with you put Mickey X on engaged supports, which he's really, really good at. They're just a really scary bot lane to deal with.
Dude, Draven, in most times, like LEC or LCS, because most teams are bad with him, Draven usually just looks like fucking trash.
Yeah.
It's so funny to watch people pick it, and then it's like, well, this sucks.
Yeah, and then, like I said, when you see Hansama playing it, and he's got like a 3,000 gold lead in 10 minutes. It's insane.
Yeah. Well, it's always good to see Draven doing well. He is like my favorite aesthetic character from League of Legends. It's not my favorite to play, but like I just like his style and stuff. A-L or A-I, whatever your name is. I'm testing hand cannons versus handguns right now, and the handguns are actually doing more damage than the hand cannons to Minotaurs.
Interesting.
Yeah, the hand cannons are missing a lot.
Yeah, they have spread.
Yeah.
They have shotgun spread, yeah. Let's see, what other strong combos are left? And a lot of people have been trying to summon Cathay in 2v2s, and I feel like Cathay is just terrible for 2v2s. because like
Yeah.
they can't commit to like all range or all melee because they need harmony, so they kind of just have to play the exact same.
I don't know. Cathay's been actually losing a decent amount in line battles too recently.
Yeah, I feel like they're a little overrated.
For sure. I still lose a good amount to them with the high elves, but it's because I take like a cav heavy build, and usually what's been winning against them recently is dragon abuse.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, Cathay doesn't have a whole lot of stuff that can stop a dragon from cycle charging or breath attacking as it wants to, as
Yeah,
long as you're
they're-
effective about dodging the ranged fire.
Yeah, their SEM killing power is pretty non-existent unless they can just shoot it.
Yeah.
But no, I've had pretty good luck just rushing them. Well, I guess I can often just take a million mobility tools and bully people with micro and just get some nice heavy cav or something to just go get in the cookie jar and start killing it. Mazel units.
I feel like all 4 of the demon factions would perform much better against Cathay if their Chaos Knights worked. But like, Chaos Knights have an issue with their models that someone pointed out to me. And the easiest way to show it is like, if you fight Snotling Pump Wagons with Chaos Knights, like just right click onto them and then AFK, about 20% of the time, the Snotling Pump Wagon will just win.
Which pump wagons are you using?
Just the normal one.
Oh,
And it's a model thing. So like, if your Chaos Knight just walks up to it and then all of your guys T-pose and the Snotlings are attacking,
hey hubby, I hate to break it to you, pump wagons are bugged as hell. They're multi-hitting.
Nice.
Yeah, there's been a really nasty pump wagon blob that's been just terrorizing Domination. They kill like I saw Hellstriders die to like 3 pump wagons in about 6 seconds.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Does it have to be a blob though?
It works better. I don't know. I haven't used it myself. I think it's the flappos in particular bugged. I haven't, like I said, I don't play Greenskins, so I don't know myself. But someone who plays Greenskins could probably educate us.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, regardless, still Chaos Knights do have the same issue because I took Chaos Knights of Khorne into VP, and they just like didn't do any damage, and it was really annoying. And then when I went back and watched the replay, they just don't attack that often. Like on their charge, they kind of the horses run into you, but the guys at the back never swing, and then they'll stand around awkwardly while you stand up, and then it just feels like the front 2 models will swing and the other 43 wait their turn, and it's like really
that's not good.
They're not performing as they should.
Yeah. It's a shame. Chaos Knights are really, really cool.
They sure
I
are.
wish some of Khorne's heavy cav options were useful. The only time you ever really see Khorne or like any Chaos Knights is against like Wood Elves or High Elves. In Dom anyway.
Yeah. No, it's still that way. Like we've recently seen some Blood Crushers, but I haven't been super sold on it. They don't look that fantastic, to be honest.
We actually had some success in 2v2s with the Knights of the Brazen Throne. Because when you have Festus to heal those bad boys, they are a nightmare.
Yeah. Oh, hey, the thing's happening where the pump wagons are taking 0 damage and they're just bodying this Chaos Knight.
Yep.
Okay, the Herald of Khorne got in there and now he's doing some damage. But yeah, these Chaos Knights have done jack shit to my pumpies.
Yeah. Sericus and Chet saying Malice died to his opponent's Flappos in about 15 seconds.
My mouse died, dog person's Flappos.
Yeah.
Wow. That's brutal.
It's a really, really silly blob. It makes me sad inside. I'm really curious what our players can pick for the last one. I really think Lizardman is probably the power pick at this point. The Shredder blob. I've had a lot of success with the Shredder Nakai blob in 2v2s. So when you have the Shredder with Ward Save and Perfect Vigor, and then you have the -8 leadership from Nakai, you throw a Source Scarvet in there to get Plaque of Domination for even more leadership debuffs. It's really, really brutal, especially once the Undead are off the field, which I think they all are gone at this point, unless somehow Counts didn't get global banned or picked up till now.
Yeah, that would be very strange.
Yep.
All right, let's all save Counts for game 3, guys.
Yep. Just make a pact. Whoever gets picked first for game 3 gets Counts. Oh, the thing is, Counts isn't actually as strong when you don't have Tomb Kings or Coast to pair with it, because then their healing doesn't synergize as well. But they're still just a really crazy strong faction in general.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Like, if your front line is Counts, any shooting faction would do very, very well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Counts Ogres could be... Like, I think Ogres are also a really good pick at this point. Oh, I'm excited to see what our players come up with.
Yeah.
I think it's because the 2v2 is such massive infantry blobs, the penetration from the lead belchers is brutal.
Depending on what's banned, obviously, I could see from the factions that are left is maybe some Norska play. I feel like Norska, because all the Chaos factions have been getting used for their Marauders, and Norska still has Marauders on the table. So
there's another faction on the table with Marauders, my friend. The Tzeentch Marauders. The best Marauder.
Oh god, they're the worst.
They're so terrible. I don't, even when I play Tzeentch, I don't bring Tzeentch Marauders. They're so bad.
They're trash.
Like, they pay extra money to just have magical attacks and a barrier that's gonna pop once and never come back.
I probably expect to see some combination of Ogres, Tzeentch, Norska, and Lizardmen.
Yeah.
Because I'm assuming if we haven't seen High Elves by now, they've been banned.
I don't know. I don't know that anybody in this game actually plays High Elves.
I'm
I don't
trying
know
to think
about
of the
Swarven.
globals though, because I can think of like.
I don't know about Swarver Tank, but I know I don't think Dragons or Hippo play High Elves at all.
I mean, their enemy doesn't know that.
The High Elves are actually pretty good when you bring I actually like Larry in 2v2s. She's really, really nice.
She's pretty good.
Lots of healing.
What are the
passives.
4 global bans that
point.
we wouldn't have seen? Maybe Skaven.
Probably, well, it counts for sure. We saw Walk, so yeah, it could have been High Elves. I suspect, it's probably counts Brett. We haven't seen those. Maybe Skaven, probably Slaanesh.
Yeah.
That seems...
Skaven, Slaanesh. Could also see Brett making it through and High Elves getting banned. Could see High Elves and Brett getting banned and Skaven getting through.
Right,
So I think, the safe 2 are Slaanesh and Counts are gone. And then between those 3, I think those are the next tier.
Yeah.
Based on what we saw, right? Like, because I would have a different prediction if we hadn't already seen Warriors of Chaos. If we hadn't already seen Dark Elves, I would have been like, oh, maybe they banned them. But we saw them, so they didn't get banned.
We could also see Wood Elves coming out, especially for Swarven Tank, who seem to favor the missile-heavy style. Wood Elves have had some pretty good results so far.
Yeah. I can see it. I do, like I said, I think Tzeentch is going to make an appearance. I think Ogres are going to make an appearance.
I'd be kind of surprised to see Tzeentch. They're okay in 2v2s. I played a bit of them, but yeah, they're all right. The problem with Tzeentch, I find in 2v2s, is that a lot of Tzeentch's power comes from their magic being good, and that doesn't scale up. Like Blue Fire doesn't do a whole lot more in 2v2s.
Infernal Gateway, though. Bigger blobs, bigger gates.
You mean more expensive Pit of Shades? More expensive, slower Pit of Shades?
Yeah. I feel like it does slightly more damage in experience, but
I have not seen a Gateway since IE came out. They have the same damage profile. I think Gateway lasts a couple of seconds longer.
Yeah, I sometimes take Village into, well, a lot of factions, but I guess Tomb Kings I would take Pink Fire.
Yeah, Pink Fire is really good into the undead.
Yeah, sometimes I take Village with Infernal Gateway, I think, versus like Walk. Happy Dryad Screeching. I low-key kind of miss Drycha on the campaign map constantly shrieking in my ear. Was it annoying? Yes. Was it endearing? Also yes.
Whatever floats your boat. There are certain things I don't miss.
Whenever she's just standing around just like as you scroll past her.
Whatever floats your boat.
I
cannot say I share your inclinations.
Alright, game 3 should have started. Swarv was asking me some stuff about 25 minutes ago.
Yeah, they
should be getting near the end.
And they sent me the replay about 35 minutes ago. But yeah, I suspect we're having a bit of. They sent me the game 2 replay about 35 minutes ago.
Yeah.
I suspect the game's probably had a bit of lag because I believe Drakens and Hippo are from North America and Swarv and Tank are European. So probably a bit of lag with 4 players connecting from halfway across the world.
True.
Mm-hmm.
Why isn't it MSI yet? Why are we still in the stupid, stinky seasons?
Hey, it's great. We just got to best of 3s for LEC. Best of 3 started yesterday.
I just want to see international stuff.
Why?
That's all I want.
What does an NA player have to look forward to at international events?
I like the pain.
What you said best of 3 started.
Yeah.
Who won? Well, actually, what's more interesting is who lost, Damon.
I started watching the first game while I was waiting for stream to start, so I haven't actually finished any of the series yet. I started yesterday, and I was busy all of yesterday, so I didn't have a chance to watch.
I bet Fnatic lost.
Yeah. I don't actually think they played yet.
They wouldn't play. They got knocked out.
Oh, yeah. That's
Yeah.
right. That's how that works.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't actually follow the league that closely. I just watch the games when they come up on YouTube.
God damn it, Planning.
I don't know the format. I don't know shit. I just like seeing team fights and shit. Let's see, who played? Mad Lions Astralis, Koi SK, Vitality Heretics. Yeah. Wait,
Alright.
those aren't best of threes. No, those are best of threes. Okay.
I have a follow-up question.
Yes.
Why don't we have the replay yet?
Because lag. If you'd like, we can fight for their entertainment while we're waiting.
I have a follow-up question.
Hmm.
I don't want to fight you.
We can do a land battle.
Never.
have I beaten you in a land battle recently? I feel like I've beaten you in a land battle in a while.
Not recently, but I think like the last time we fought, maybe. What? Damn it. Oh yeah.
Umai's single capture point land battle mod.
Mm-hmm.
Thoughts?
I know very little about it.
It'd be interesting. I really wish it was like something that CA put in the game instead of mods, because mods always divide a community. Like,
Yeah. How exactly does it work?
just no reinforcements. It's it is a land battle, and the center point there is a single capture point that unlocks after a bit, and if you capture it and get the points, the game ends. But it's just Dom with no reinforcements and a single point.
So I heard the objective actually takes pretty long.
Yeah,
it's like
his reasoning was it mostly is to discourage like
blob, like
fighting.
yeah.
Well, it doesn't discourage blobs.
Yeah, it needs to be long enough that a Nurgle blob just can't sit there and tank the entire time, even if they're being shot. But not long enough that somebody can draw at you for 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's the thought behind it.
Okay.
I just like.
Yeah, I agree. Like, we already have a pretty fractured community between Dom and land battles, so adding a third option is like, it's not going to bring new players. It's going to be drawing from the 2 pools we already have, and that's just fracturing even more.
Yeah, which is unfortunate.
Like, if there is a consensus that it is just the better game mode, sure, but I don't foresee that happening.
Probably not.
Like, I don't see Dom players forsaking Dom to go play it. I don't see land battles saying, "Hey, this is better than land battle. Let's go play that."
We are a stubborn bunch.
Yeah, I feel like the people, especially land battles, people who are playing land battles, like they've committed. They like that mode the way it is, so they're just committed to it and they want to just play that.
Yeah. Cyrus is talking mad shit about NA soccer, which that's fine. You can have your crappy sport.
Yeah, you can have your meat sports. We don't care. We're here for video games. I'm hearing some cowardice on the side of hubby, not wanting to fight me.
I am pretty cowardly.
I'll play Brett.
Alright.
You can play whatever you'd like.
Let's go. Let's do it.
Alright.
I was just scrolling Reddit. Just enjoying my Reddit time.
This isn't Reddit time, this is fighting time.
That's fair. I'm watching your stream to figure out what lobby I'm going to.
It's called Tasty Cheese. Rats love cheese. Get in here.
That's fair.
Alright, what land battle map are we playing?
I hate to burst your bubble.
Did they send you the replay?
I see their lobby now.
Oh, which means the game is probably done. Oh, Tank and Swarv, I see it. Nice. And there's less players in. Oh, spectator slot. Let me spectate real quick.
You can see what they took?
So I can see what's happening. I see only 3 players in, so looks like
but after 40 minutes, it looks like they would have finished by now. I feel like we would have heard if they were having issues.
Yeah, probably. I saw Norska, I saw Lizards, and I saw High Elves. High Elves didn't get banned.
Elves didn't get banned. Also, did I say something about Norska? I feel like I said something about Norska.
Yeah, you did. If somebody's into the replay, you should ask them what the global bans were.
All right.
Actually, I'll
Let me
test
know
it.
if somebody sends you a replay. I'm gonna hit up some people.
Yeah, me too. Just
Nobody
in,
likes
I'm
the
just
Chinese, but
I'm in DMs begging for replays.
Hitman Hippo sent me yep with an exclamation point like a fucking tool. Drakens is sending.
Draken said 1 sec. I'm also asking what the globals were. Drakens is typing. What? What's so funny?
I sent Hitman Hippo, I said replay, all done. And he said, yep, Drakens is setting. And I said, good, I hate that asshole. And then I switched it through editing to, hey, thanks, buddy. He just says Lamau.
Okay, so you wanna know what the global bans were?
What?
So Swarven Tank banned Cathay and Wood Elves. Draken and Hippo banned Slanesh and Counts.
I think
And then, wait.
Swarven Tank.
Oh,
were
wait.
just-
I misread that. It says Cathay and then we. That's the we, not Wood Elves. Okay, so it's Cathay and Skaven that were banned.
Alright, that makes sense.
Reading is hard.
So then High Elves weren't global banned, and we are seeing them. We were right about that.
Yep.
Lizardmen, you had mentioned, could be pretty pog. I had mentioned Norse could be pretty pog. So far we both kind of have a little bit of a pulse on what's going on. I wonder
Yep.
what the fourth faction is.
Zinch.
Hey, let's go. All right, we're not so bad at this.
Yeah, we know what we're doing. Look at that. Oh, do you want me to send you the replay?
Yeah.
Right.
I'm going to go ahead and guess that Swarven Tank were the side with Zinj.
Yep.
Yeah. It's like Swarven Tank are a very common 2v2 combo, and a lot of Cute and stuff, they're always paired up together, and they've always kind of liked that style, and it's like, it's hard to define, but it's like the top
defensive style.
the defensive style, yeah, but like the top of land battle meta, and then they just take it into a 2v2 setting, even if it's maybe not ideal. And you know, Zinch is still pretty powerful land battles. They're not like top tier, but they're up there.
Are High
Blue
Elves
Fire,
top tier?
yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
I lost the High Elves in a long time.
they're top tier. It doesn't mean they're gonna win every single game, but a lot of streams are just like High Elf, Dark Elf spam.
Oh,
Because
Isn't
they're not global ban worthy, right? They're like they're in
they're
second
A
place.
tier. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you
They're
ban
beatable for
you
sure.
ban Cathay, you ban Counts, then you play High Elves.
Yeah. High Elves,
So-
Dark Elves, Skaven, Tomb Kings, Coast are all
So
pretty common.
I have seen High Elves Dark Elves a lot in your stream. Isn't that matchup terrible for High Elves? 'Cause it's terrible for High Elves and Dom.
Yeah, it's terrible for High
Like
Elves.
Scourge Runners just exist and High Elves cry.
Yep.
Alright, do you want High Elves Zinch or do you want Lizard Norska?
I'll do High Elves Zinch because I predicted Zinch.
Yep.
And
Alright.
your RT lads are your lads.
Mm-hmm.
An unholy blob has formed. I think the spawn zone might be a little small. Is why
Yeah.
these are all so close together.
Yeah, it kind of is.
Archmage of Metal with Final Transmutation and Plague of Rust. The Fireborn.
Oh my god,
And
it's like
then-
the final trans in years.
A bunch of Chaos Warriors, a bunch of Blue Horrors, Lothern Seaguard, and Archer spam. Like, oh lordy, that is
It's a lot of shooting.
It's approximately 6 or 7 ranged units. 8, 9. Okay, 9. Weird spawns, some spears, more Silver and Guard. Yeah, okay. So it's a mix of Chaos Warriors and Silver and Guard for a front line, and then a metric fuck ton of Archers and Horrors. Then we have Kairos Fate Weaver, Blue Fire, and Pendulum. Why Pendulum? How does... Every time I see this spell, I'm underwhelmed, and still people will come in and be like, what
You know
about
what?
Pendulum?
You know what Pendulum's really good against? These really tightly stacked elven formations. You know what Pendulum's really bad against? Really wide lizard formations.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's the whole army over there.
Alright, so looks like I said, Hippo and Dragons with that first game, they needed to commit to the rush. And I see nothing but bodies. We got Marauder Champions, we got Saurus, we got Skink Javs, Saurus Champions, Famir Warriors. Haven't seen that unit in a long time. Kind of like it. The Armor Sundering will help the Champions and the Saurus actually do really, really well into the Chaos Warriors. As well as probably beat the crap out of the Weird Spawn. Then we have a Slot Matrix of Life with passive spam as well as Dwellers. Little greedy on the magic, but should do some pretty good work. And then we have Wolfric with Boat and Hunter of Champions, and a Pit of Shades Famir with Scroll of Power. So, ready to go? 1,
Hell
2,
yeah.
3. So, Scroll of Power, there's a neat trick that a lot of Norska players like to do, where they take Pit of Shades and Scroll of Power, and then you wait a little bit to start the engagement until you've banked up a ton of WOM. You drop a Pit of Shades, wait for the end, pop Scroll of Power, and immediately cast another Pit of Shades. You can just get 2 Pit of Shades straight off the bat and punch massive holes in your enemy's line, and then flood your infantry through the holes in their line and surround them or get on the missile pieces. It's really, really devastating to a lot of static missile lines like we have right here.
Follow up. Cast Pit of Shades. Wait for it to come off cooldown. Cast Scroll of Power. Throw out 2 Pit of Shades at the same time. Profit. That's how that works.
This map does seem to be pretty good for the type of style that Hippo and Draken seem to be fond of. There's a lot of trees here they can hide on and then push out from every point of the map all at once and just stretch their opponent's infantry line very, very thin as they try to protect all their missile units.
I see.
I worry that the lower, like, upfront damage High Elf archers are gonna struggle to just have the stopping power to slow down these Saurus with shields, these champions with shields. They're some basic marauders. First thing I've done is the Colossa Hunters. Guess they don't want those Fireborn getting any ideas.
Yeah.
I love this unit. I don't know about you. Colossa Hunters never disappoint me.
You have to be careful.
Yes, they're very squishy.
Yeah. But, like, put in a good situation, then yeah, they always do incredibly well. The times that they disappoint is always user error, where it's like, I landed them on archers and they got rear charged by anti-large cav and died. This unit sucks. It's like, no, that's just a worst case scenario.
I land those bad boys on Blood Knights. I pop Toad Rage and the Blood Knights disappear, and it's amazing. It makes me so happy. And that's what I expect they're here for today, is to shut down those Fireborn, the Silver Helms, whatever they can get. Archers are starting to tee off, starting to get some shots in. Looks like the High Elf Cav is getting a little bit eager to get in there, which I don't mind. Get some early damage in, then just back off and heal up, and, like, you know, no harm done. They are touching the trees.
Pretty free.
Yeah, you really need to see the Colossa Hunters start hovering over and just kind of shadowing them wherever they go. Got, what is that, Earthblood coming in for the Lizards. Just trying to get that damage done.
Earthblood.
Yeah. Just trying to heal up whatever damage those Strike Princes did do, which isn't a whole lot. Saurus are fairly tanky, and they were in the trees. They'll be just fine. But I suspect we will, like I said, be seeing that same style. Just sit back, get all of the bodies on the field as possible, and then just swarm this line. Honestly, I'd love to see this formation for the High Elves and Tzeentch be a little further to the southern end of the map, and just kind of put their back against the wall so they're a lot harder to flank. Try to protect their flanks with the trees and passable terrain. They're kind of far up right now, which means they're very, very easy to flank us around. And look, they're just getting kited. Like, the Norscan lines just fell back with the archers in attack orders, and now they're super far out of position. And now the Lizards and Norscans can advance while the archers are falling back, since they're not being shot at, which is a really, really good engage. It's a really nice timing from the RTK boys. Now those archers also fall back. Yeah.
As opposed to game 1 where it was Dwarves, Tomb Kings, and RTK sat in the woods for so long they built up this big force, but also their enemy built up a big force to defend their archers. This is the better timing, in my opinion, because there's too many archers and too few melee units that are spawned, and they're not here yet. And now the Saurus are walking forward, and the archers have no one to hide behind, so they're spending most of their time retreating and not shooting. I think this is a better timing than game 1, where it's like, build up a little bit of your force, but you still need to go before the enemy's ready.
Yeah, they found the sweet spot. They found a good engage time, both about infantry numbers they have on the field, as well as their opponent's archers being out of position. So they're in a really, really nice spot. But they need to be careful not to concentrate their force too much and actually spread things out. So you just blob up, you're just going to get hit with that pendulum, hit with the final trans, whatever, just take a lot of damage. You really need to engage on as many fronts as possible. That should be a nice Pit of Shades coming down in the center here. Famir are hit with Plague of Rust, as well as Armor Sundering, so they have 20 armor. They're being focus fired by all the archers. Nice Pit of Shades, though, coming in, melting those Chaos Warriors. Shield of the Old One trying to just protect those Famir as they just run away in shame. Shame, because Famir never performed.
A lot of damage.
Yeah.
Jesus.
But, like, on the middle point, there's just so many Marauders, and Norscans just blobbed up on top of each other, and they're doing good work killing off the Horrors. But they're just so many stacked on top of each other that not a lot of them are actually in combat. The point does flip very, very quickly, as there are so many bodies for Lizardmen and Norse on the point. Famir are routing off. Looks like we got another final trans coming down on top of Wolfric. Should do some really, really nice damage, but it doesn't do a whole lot of damage to his infantry, which is the real thing you need to have stopping power for. This infantry just streaming in the backline. We got the Beast of Tashnar on the far side, just running down these Silver Helms, trying to pop some Horrors. We Got a really nice, is that a pit or dwellers? What is that in the back line on top of
Pit,
3 archers? Yeah, that gets some really nice damage, catches 3 units, as well as that waking the wood to slow them down so they can't get out of there. It's a really, really nice combo. Wolfric getting in the back is trying to shut down these pink horrors so they can't fire. And looks like Norscan Lizard do have the 2-cap for the time being. Beast Tashnar arguing right off in the backfield. Fireborn Arch getting a really nice sweeper unit. But they don't kill infantry that fast, and that's really what you need here. It's just that infantry killing power. Colossus Hunters are getting in. If they get on top of Kairos, Kairos will melt very, very quickly. Kairos did go for the snipe on the Slann, but Kairos is not the greatest melee combatant. The Colossus Hunters land on him, but nope, the Colossus Hunters are not. Kairos is not worth their time. They're just going to tear apart some Screamers. Should be a really, really good fight for them.
Yeah, they have to be careful not to let the Slann get entirely sniped. Kairos is a bad combatant, but, I mean, with Fury surrounding him, and he could throw blue fire out, which looks like he's going into the air to do right now, that Slann could be in trouble, and there's no healing for him. Oh, wait, no, yeah, it is.
He's a life Slann. He'll be fine.
My brain said he was a fire Slann. I don't know why.
Yeah, fair enough. We do have Bastildon coming in, which is actually a pretty nice choice. All of these missiles are non-AP, except for those Flamers that are being swarmed by Saurus. So the Bastildon should be just a nice, cheap, sustainable terror piece, but my god, look at all these stacked units. There's so many models not in combat. You just got to get around the sides or through the gaps. They did so well about that before, but now they're just slipping up. I guess they're getting tired, more worn out as the tournament wears on.
Yeah, I mean, there's a pendulum, but it did negative damage. I think it healed the Saurus it was hitting.
Yep. Yeah, Saurus are just really, really resilient to spells like that because they're loose formation. Well, lizards in general are like that, so it's very, very nice. Fireborn are getting atop the Colossus Hunters, getting nice charge, as well as Wolfric taking some good damage.
See charm ability.
Oh,
it's hitting everything.
Yep, those Marauder Spears as well as the Saurus Spears. That's gonna be a load of damage. Oh,
I don't know who's
boy. Those are some cheap Tzeentch units into some pretty expensive champions on Saurus. It's pretty nice value for Tzeentch. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's better. For a second there, I thought it was just Marauders. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, that was Marauders and Saurus versus just Rangers and Spears. That was a lot of value. And the value is swinging pretty heavily in the favor of Swarv and Tank, but their Archer line is starting to get compromised as the front line just crumbles away. But it looks like the blue team is just dropping their micro. Their infantry is just idle in the center. They need to start breaking through these gaps. Another huge final trans, just wearing down Wolfric, the Skin Wolves, the Feral Cold ones. Wolfric is on death's door. He's getting an Earthblood, but he needs a lot of help. And that final trans might just finish him off, especially when he's surrounded by the Fireborn like that. That'll be a big hit for Hippo and Dragons.
He's gonna make it.
Yeah, Beast of Tashnar are going to come in and just try and cover his escape. They should get some good damage from the Fireborn, getting a nice charge, but this is looking pretty rough for Norscan Lizards. They're starting to win on the left side, but the right side, there's just a really nice contingent of shooting over here that's completely safe. Just shilling in the damage and tearing apart this leadership core for the forces of the blue team.
Another pendulum came in on the far side, but it just didn't deal any damage at all. So not really too much.
Yeah, I hear that sound, and just there's no alarm bells in my head. I hear a Pit of Shades, and I'm like, oh, big impact. Pendulum is just nah. Just nah.
Yeah. The frontline fight's still going okay for the Norscan and Lizardman forces. They do have some compromising stuff in the backline, but it's getting a bit messier now, where it used to be pretty clear that they were winning the center. It's like the southern part of the center is not going their way, but then the northern part is. Well, I suppose that's like northeast, but still. It's getting a little hairy out here. Wolfric's back. He should desummon, though.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Wolfric should desummon, or just hide in the trees and cast Boat. But even with Blue Fire in the field, like one Blue Fire and he's gone, so he needs to be extremely careful. The Shades in the backfield does catch some Marauders. Not the most valuable target, some Lothern as well. And this is just such a messy fight. It was such a narrow battlefield. It's just so scrappy. It's hard to tell what's going on, but...
Wolfric is successfully desummoned. Kairos fought the Colossus Hunters, took like negative damage and wandered off. I imagine he probably healed himself or used like Oracle of Eternity or something.
Yep, Fireborn are starting to get worn down. They're just fighting off some skinks in the trees, and honestly, probably not a trade they really want to be taking. Skinwolves coming in to punish them as well. But the endless tide of more and more Saurus, the Pohawk cohort, which should kill off these Fireborn, Feral Cold ones, just more and more bodies. And I don't know if the High Elves and the Tzeentch can actually keep up with that, because their frontline infantry really aren't that great for their price. They pay a lot for frontline infantry that don't really perform in an infantry fight, so really relying on these missiles. And while they do have safe positions and some pretty good ammo, as soon as they start running out of ammo, they're going to be a lot of trouble.
Yeah, point 3 is under contention right now. We have some Norscan Warhounds, the Ice Wolves over there, but they're damaged enough that it's a slow capture, but they'll get it done. They'll do what they need to.
And that forces Tzeentch and the High Elves to send some infantry over there, and it's like we saw before. The infantry comes over, the Hound runs away, and now you have, 500-600 gold in infantry stuck on a point then the Hound is actually impacting the fight. So it's really just a value trade, just forcing the objectives to get a little bit of an advantage in the fight. But now that the High Elf front line has kind of crumbled, and it's just kind of open season on these archers. There's nothing to protect them. The Feral Cold Ones getting in there, the Skin Wolves, and just these endless tide of lizard and Norskin bodies.
The capture point on 3 is almost complete. Some archers and some wounded Lothern Sea Guard and stuff like that are coming over to try and peel them off, but I don't think they'll get here in time. Maybe the dogs can actually complete the cap. Looks like they are just going to opt out, though.
Yeah, look how many forces are being committed to deal with this one half-elf dog. That's like 300 gold of dog for a half-elf Lothern Sea Guard, an almost dead archer, a Marauder, and another Lothern Sea Guard. That's like 1,400 gold funds of value, just distracted by a 300 gold dog that's going to walk away and go back to the fight. That's a massive value trade in the favor of dragons. It's the little things like that that can really swing this game. Yeah.
Red Crested Skinks in the back, also holding off the High Elves from doing the opposite to them, so that Spearman is going to get pushed off. Point 1 will stay secure for them. Center point still being nicely held by Norska and Lizards. Not a ton of threat for them to honestly lose it. Like, it's getting slightly contested right now, but they have so much support nearby they could throw in the point if they needed to. I think it's going to be a double cap all the way to victory, unless the High Elves do something. High Elves each do something wild.
Sun Maze Fierce's Gaze of Fade, and Kairos is coming in for the snipe, but Colossus Hunters have rallied nearby, and Kairos is not looking so high. He's only got 2,000 HP left. Colossus Hunter's coming in with an Earthblood. Kairos could die off here if he's not very, very careful. If there's a Toad Rage available, come on.
He didn't bring regrowth.
Yeah, he didn't bring any healing, and the High Elf caster is metal, not life. So Kairos is in a lot of trouble. He's only got 7 HP. The Colossus Hunter's going to kill him off here. That could be a huge swing. Yeah, Kairos is gone. He's crumbling away.
And a Pit of Shades.
And a lovely Pit of Shades. Oh, look at all that.
Silver Helms, Forsaken, some Silver and Guard a little bit.
Oh, this is such a messy battlefield. Look at all the bodies on the field.
Yeah,
Both living and dead. Just so many bodies, so many big monsters. Sonic 3. It's glorious. Now the High Elf Mage is trying to finish off what Kairos started, picking up the Slann and then thinking better of it. Yeah, maybe not.
Yeah, that needs to be a final transmutation angle. You can't go into melee with that. Oh, he's actually desummoning the High Elf caster.
He's out of Womp. Oh, he tried. The Skin Wolves got onto her. That's huge. If they can actually kill her off as well, that's a massive swing. And also, with Kairos gone too, that's a huge loss for Zinch, because not only do they no longer have spells or their Lord, they're also not getting their army abilities, which, as we saw, were so impactful earlier. Now the hunt begins for that Archmage of Metal. You know,
High Elves are bringing in a little bit of a second wind, but it's mostly just almost dead units across the battlefield. Everybody is about out of juice, but it looks like the Norskins and Lizards have more on the field. And if you consider all the healing that Norska and the Lizards have had through regen of their, Skin Wolf type units or healing from the Slann, the fact that the damage values are about even at 12 minutes into the game is actually a pretty damning consequence for the High Elves and Zinch.
Yeah, even the Zinch barriers aren't even enough to mitigate the amount of healing that the Slann has provided. The Archmage of Metal did manage to get desummoned, which is probably good. Even though they aren't as tough to kill as they used to be, they're still pretty slippery. So just get them out of there, get them desummoned. Don't worry about it. Fireborn are getting charged by the Paha Coport. That's gonna be a bad trade. These guys are AP anti-large. We'll just have really nice melee stats, sandwiched by Skin Wolves and the Beast of Tashnar. Those Flaming Lances may not be enough even against these Skin Wolves and all these Lizards, but looks like we got some Pink Horrors coming in, trying to provide some supporting fire. The High Elf Zinch line looks to just have worn out. Just the relentless grind of bodies from the Norskins and the Lizards. Just
if you want the amount of violence that has happened in this game, none of the players have resources. It's just been no one's unit capped or anything. Everything's dying constantly.
I just envision a burning head tearing through all of these bodies in the center pit. This has just been an absolute mosh pit of blood and gore and violence.
I think we have one more Pit of Shades, maybe, but otherwise I think everybody's out of WOM.
Yeah. Yeah, the WOM has been used very... Oh, I just heard High Elf say Die Lizardman? I've never heard that voice line before. I didn't know that was a voice line. Interesting.
Wow, High Elves, get your shit together. Though I will say, I've been reading some of the Thankful books, and one of them has Lizardmen featured in it, and I learned that Lizardmen are apparently just absolute dicks. Like, they are the worst.
Fireborn are trying to chase off that Slann. He does have Shield of the Old Ones as well as some Ice Hounds and some Cav coming into support. But now the High Elves are just trying to snipe him. There's just a bunch of Archers folks firing him. Screamer's trying to chase him off. He should be routed off the very least. He's at 300 HP. Maybe he can get out alive. If he gets out, just desummon him. He's done his job, yeah. But this is looking pretty rough. The problem is that all of the killing power for the High Elves and Zinch is in the Archers and the Pink Horrors. and there's no way you can resummon those and keep them safe at this point, at this stage of the game. Just too many mobility tools for their opponents. Just get on top of them. This is looking, actually, the points. Oh, jeez, I didn't even realize how far the points were getting ahead of us. Oh, I completely slipped my notice. Yeah, I also have to 3-cap.
What did I tell you?
Yeah.
What did I tell you? It's
body
gonna,
tied.
I was like, I wonder if it's just gonna be a double cap all the way to victory here.
Yeah, only 100 points to go. High Elves, I need to take both of these objectives back in the next minute or so, or they're out. And that they'll lose the entire tournament off of that. So yeah, they really got to get after it.
They have nothing going for 0.1 at all. So even if they took 0.2, it's over.
Yeah, all their killing powers in the archers, which early on was fine, but in the late game they just take too long to actually get that value out, actually spend their ammo. So yeah, I think Lizards and Norska have it.
Damage values are very, very similar.
Yeah.
RGK took a bit of a lead. They're like 2,000 up, but that's not really the point. The point's just,
yeah,
it was even, but one side had healing to keep their bodies on the field, and the other side did not, so they actually wore out.
I would like to give a shout out to this Bastildon that got summoned at the very beginning and is still just chugging along, causing terror in the center. And that's it. My RTK boys take the tournament.
I would like to give a shout out to Pendulum Still Sucks Ass. Still.
You're not wrong. Champions doing work. Oh, champions are so good, dude. Especially with healing support.
Yeah.
Cool. Casual 3k value on a Famir caster.
Yeah. Looking around, Clawson Hunters did quite well. Everything else did fine, but no real standouts.
That Bastildon seems pretty Chad to me. I don't know what you're talking about. He didn't do much value. He's just he was in the center objective, getting shot the entire game and never died.
I mean, that's kind of like we talked about the Treekin. It's important. Doesn't mean you have to do damage to be important.
Yep. And the fact that he was damaged and never died, and was still able to do his job, is actually pretty big.
High Elf Caster did well. Fireborn did well. The rest of the High Elf, High Elf Cad was all doing great.
Fireborn was summoned twice, I think. So that's actually it's pretty big value sync still.
2,000 value on Kairos.
Yeah, some of the offense you got a lot of shots off and did pretty good value, but yeah, just against all the armor and the shields, it just wasn't enough.
One of the Screamers got 2,200 value, but it was summoned like 4 times.
Yeah, Screamers are a good unit, dude. And then a unit I know you're very happy to see get 150 value. The Flamers got shut down immediately and never fired.
Dude, Flamers suck.
I know.
I don't care what anybody says.
I know you hate Flamers, so I know you're happy to see that.
Yeah. I'd be okay if they were a good unit, but the problem is even in the open field, if you're running straight at them, there's nothing between you two. They fire. If you're infantry sized, half of their fire goes over your head, and I'm like, why? Why are you so bad at this? Oh, it's brutal.
So anyway, that is our tournament for the day. Congratulations to Hippo and Drakens, and thank you for everybody who played. Thank you, Humo, for joining me. If you want to shout out your stuff, I know you do a bunch of land battle stuff as well as 2v2 tournaments.
Yeah, that was a pretty brisk 4 hours. I mean, as far as 2v2 streams go, the replays was definitely a good shout out by you. That we should do that at the start when we were setting up. You were saying we should do that because I didn't notice too much of a dip in enthusiasm between live because we were kind of casting live. We were just right behind them, but it wasn't like this already happened days ago and we know who won.
Yeah.
But having no lag was just infinitely better of a casting experience for, I guess 2v2s and domination in general. Whenever there is lag, it's fucking brutal.
Yeah.
Obviously, land battles too. That wasn't oh man, land battles with lag, fucking perfect. Just stellar. It was. Yeah, it's always terrible, man. Oh, it's a slideshow. Let's watch Malekith slowly swing. Anyway. My stuff, I have a channel, a YouTube channel, HumanBoy Yes, you'll be able to find me easily enough. Do mostly land battle tournament casts these days, but if I ever get tired of the Warhammer, do some other stuff occasionally, like Darkest Dungeon.
Or Panzer models.
Content. Yeah, or Panzer models. That was really fun. I don't think YouTube would like that, but
bring it back.
It was really fun.
Need some more Ratboy dating sims. Anyway.
Daily videos, a land battle replay, and then a meme or a bug every other day. So, if today I think a land battle replay came out, means tomorrow is some meme or bug that I'm mad about. It's good stuff. It's good content.
Yeah.
That's all I have.
Thank you so much for joining me. Always a pleasure to have you on. So,
Thanks for hanging with me, buddy.
that's all we got for you today, folks. Thanks for coming. I will see you next time.